Hello, everyone. Welcome to RP Geeks, where some science nerds roll dice and tell stories. Have we used that intro? I feel like I haven't used that for a while. How is everybody doing? We're back with Daggerheart. Say hello, everybody.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Lose lights. They're going.
Well, that's because I'm normally orange because of my mushroomness, and I forgot, and so now I'm having to do it retroactively, and I feel
like
weird
it.
about it.
Chat, if you can hear the fan I have on my microphone, let me know and I will change it. But yeah, I'm hoping you can't because it's warm in here. Hello, everyone. I'm Emily Bates. I'm going to be running this game of Daggerheart with these
It's the real intro or the fake intro,
people.
Emily Bates?
This is the real intro. I've just decided.
Yes!
Now I have to start it again. Hello,
Sometimes
everybody.
we have a fake intro.
Hello.
Hello,
everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Emily Bates.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody, hello.
Oh, it's one of these ones.
I was going to say, this is
penultimate
good,
episode.
good
It's
energy.
very warm.
It's very warm. We've got
How
some
are
fans
you?
going on. We've both physical and, well, all physical, but some motorized and some handheld. Lou has
I'm
won
a
the
fan of all of
game.
you.
Shamini's
Ba-dum-tsh.
a fan of all of you, and she's cute. Hello, I'm Emily. I will be running this game of Daggerheart. It is the open beta that we are doing. This is version 1.5 that we are stumbling our way through. We are in part 3 of our 4-part series of Shattered, set in the Kinekozan Jags. Shamini, hello, who are you?
Hiya. I am playing Abbott. I forgot my surname. Augustine.
Professor
I'm
Abbott
a
Augustine.
professor, a botanist wizard, and a galapa, which is a large sort of turtle person.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely. Let's go round on this screen. Folarin.
Hello.
Hello. Who are you and what are you playing?
I am Folarin, and I am playing OG Alluro, who is a Qatari human bard, and just a general flim-flam con man. Don't trust him.
Love it
man.
every time you say
Every time
flim
you
flam.
time
I'm
you
like,
say
yes,
flim-flam, yeah.
Flim-flam's a great word, and we
It's
should
still
use it
flim-flam.
more often.
Lovely. And Jeremy, you're back.
Hi, yes, I am. Hello, everybody. I'm back, and I'm playing Reginald Periwinkle, whose pronouns are he, they. Reginald is a clank fungrel.
Clank Fungrel, we love.
Yeah, who's been Rip Van Winkled and doesn't know what's going on.
What is the actual story of Rip Van Winkle?
Rip Van Winkle is an American tall tale of a man who goes, I believe, hunting. First of all, he has his kids, and he doesn't have a great relationship with his wife. His wife gets annoyed at him a lot because he's I think he's a little bit of a layabout. He goes into the woods hunting.
Layabout.
Yeah, he goes into the woods hunting,
Foreshadowing.
hears a bunch of thunder, and he's like, what the heck? But it's not raining. Finds some dwarfs who are also giants. So the giants with the proportions of dwarfs. Playing bowling. They're bowling in the mountains, and that's what the thunder sound is. He hangs out with them for a while. They don't speak, but he hangs out with them and drinks some of their beer, falls asleep, wakes up, and it's like 20 or 30 years later. And his gun is like covered in like it's rusted away. He's grown like a long beard. His clothes have mostly rotted off. He's like, what? Goes back to town. His kids are grown up and have families. His wife is dead. He's just like, oh, okay. And that's kind of the end. Is they're like, oh, you're back. Whoa, this is crazy. Wow. Well, all right. And that's kind of the end.
Okay.
We'll
So
see
typical
how accurate
away with the
that
face.
is.
This
story.
stream is now Jeremy Cobb telling tall
I
tales.
would absolutely
Yeah.
be okay with that.
I tried to tell it as
Yeah.
succinctly as possible.
That was-
There's more that happened in that
Just
story
do
than
it
I
less
thought.
succinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think it was
Like,
just about a
dwarves
very
bowling.
sleepy man.
Yeah,
so-
I thought he just went to sleep for a long time. Then
There is
woke
more
up.
to
Like,
it,
there is
yeah.
plot. Yeah.
In my head,
Yeah.
and maybe this is the
Relationships.
British telling of Rip Van Winkle, is he the one with the floppy hat?
No, that's
Um,
Willy Winky.
Wee Willy Winky, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I was thinking
I
of
had
that
that
story.
hat.
There is a little bit of like
course you did.
lore that gets revealed that there was like some legendary group of like settlers, like Dutch settlers or something that got lost in the mountains or something, and it's implied that the giants were like those people having been like changed by the mountains into these eternal beings. It's weird,
Maybe
but
there'll
nothing's
be
really
lore.
tied up.
Maybe
Yeah.
there'll be law for Reginald. Who knows?
Maybe.
We'll find out. Maybe today on Daggerheart. Shattered. Who knows? Lou.
This is still the intro.
This is still the intro.
Yes, it is.
Oh, welcome to RP Geeks. We do extended intros. But they're always different.
Same. Hi, I'm Lou, pronoun she, they, and I am playing the other that is us, a fungal giant who is an incredibly badly optimized character and is about to be entirely useless in the action to come.
Yeah, this is actually going to be relevant now, your stats.
There's maybe a fight
Let's
coming
see.
here,
Let's
I think.
see.
Michelle.
Hello, I am Michelle. My pronouns are she, her. I am playing Platymandus, who uses any pronouns, and is a ribbit sorcerer and who's just trying his best and has not rolled with any hope in quite some time, and so can't use really any of her abilities in the upcoming problems that need to be faced. It's going to be great!
How is everyone doing on the hope levels? What are we at?
I've got hope.
You got some hope? How many?
I've got 5 out of 6.
5 out of
Ooh,
6.
very
Oh my
Excellent.
gosh.
I got
Yeah.
6.
So hopeful.
Abbott's
Yeah.
been rolling well. Or at least with hope. We've if
Bloody hell.
not well.
Yeah.
2 for the other that is us. The other us. 2 for OG. Okay. Platty?
Entirely hopeless.
Entirely hopeless. And Reginald?
4.
4. Okay. Okay.
I have 4 hope.
There's some
I
hope
spent
there.
2 being helpful last episode, so
I'm just realizing I should have reread the combat rules before this episode specifically. Like I did it for episode 1, and I was like, yeah, I'm on it. I know everything, and I may have forgotten it all.
I also
Oh,
should
you
have
read
done
the
this.
rules?
I
So committed
I
of you.
do.
I just hope for the best.
A little behind the screens for you, chat. I didn't do my normal read the rules of combat before we start thing because I've been fashioning I was trying to fashion an ice pack and a way of elevating my foot because I broke my toe at the weekend. And it was very silly. I was doing a little dance in a swimming pool and I kicked far too aggressively as my friend kicked aggressively the other way, and I jokingly went, ow, I think I've broken my toe. But I was maybe a couple of beverages down and maybe was like, I think it's fine, and then looked at it later in the night and it was purple, and I was like, a problem.
No.
But
What
it's
did you
my
do
little
in
toe.
the night? Did you do anything? Like, it's not...
Well, just existed. I don't know. What do
in
you
the
mean?
night, but like you're in the night and you're a purple toe and you're just there being like, oh,
I
that's
played beer
like...
pong.
Yeah.
I,
Right, okay. Sure,
That'll
yeah.
help.
I did some dancing on the toe, and then I went to sleep with a pillow under it. So really, I helped it a lot.
That's...
You're
not sure the
Good medical
dancing was-
advice.
medicine.
Yeah. how
I'm
we do
not
it.
saying I didn't know it was broken until I looked at it and it was purple, and that was a few hours past the pool incident. And
I've
now
actually
it's
just
quite warm.
Googled it, and the NHS does actually say that the best way to treat a broken toe is to play beer pong on it.
Yeah,
So
so that's
Oh, good.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Well, excellent. Fun fact:
Yeah, it
when I
would have
broke
been a
my
waste of time
foot,
you going to
when I
1-on-1.
was 18, I sort of just tripped over it. This is really not an necessary story. Sorry, we'll get to the game in a minute, everyone. Emily, Law, I tripped over my feet while I was trying to jump on my friend's back on a night out, and broke all 5 metatarsals without even falling. I didn't even hit the floor. I just tripped and then went, ow. And then everyone was like, oh, stop being a baby. You've just twisted your ankle or something. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And I carried on dancing on it for the entire evening. And then I woke up the next day and I was like,
And it was
my
purple.
foot is entirely purple.
dear.
And then I was
Were,
like, that
were
was in a
you
cast.
were you in heels?
No, I was in flats.
This is mystifying.
It was genuinely, I just tripped over my own feet. I clearly didn't have enough calcium at that time in my life. So I have broken a lot of bones, touch wood, not for a long time apart from the toe. So this is
Hopefully
my
there will
quota
be-
for this decade, I feel like.
Hopefully
maybe
there'll be no
life.
broken bones in the
I've never
combat
broken a
that we
bone.
might do, because we'll all
Just hit
be...
my hands on the table.
masterful segue. Oh my gosh, did you just hurt yourself again?
I just hit it on the table. Okie dokie.
Oh,
No
Right.
more broken digits.
Here
None.
we go.
You got to put on one of them boots.
I
Gotta
know,
put on
I
one of
know,
them
I know.
protective boots.
Just a general. Right, where's my music? Let's start, shall we? Welcome.
Wait, did everyone get introduced?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
I
yes.
got there
we did
eventually.
That was
Eventually.
it was somewhere in the intro.
It's
Yeah,
been about
it
a,
happened.
Dotted around.
10-minute intro
Yeah,
so
before or
far.
after the comical and the broken toe.
Honestly, if we did skip anybody, we'll get to them as we go.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
find
exactly.
You'll meet them.
Yeah, it's fine.
All
At some
right.
point.
That's an overlay. They'll figure it out.
What they're for.
Music, are you playing? Is it playing? Yes, good. We come back in with Reginald, Are you flying or falling? It's quite hard to tell. All around you, the raw, arcane energies of the mountains swirl in shades of pink and purple and blue. You feel your consciousness fading and being replaced with flashes of memory. You're on a mountain, overlooking a vast woodland, knowing the creature you hunt resides within. Then, you're in a camp, in a floating tent surrounded by your friends. A young ribbit with a beard of stone, a giant with multiple sets of arms, and your wife. Reginald, what did your wife look like? You have complete free reign here.
Oh, I'm just writing down the descriptions very quickly of
Quick,
everybody
invent your
else.
wife.
Okay, I'm just gonna invite.
No pressure.
Here, I'm inventing my wife as we go. Let me pull up the.
No pressure,
list.
but she has to be perfect.
Yes. Let me
She
look at
will
the.
be perfect.
She is perfect, for she's my wife. Where's the species list? Right off the bat.
And also, we're going to make a character sheet for her. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making a character sheet for her right now.
Please wait, she's level 20.
My lord! They haven't even built that into the game yet.
That's true, yeah, we can't go to level 20 yet.
We're gonna go to level 10.
Let me see. Ancestries. Okay, here's the list. Right off the bat.
And you can mix them. A lot of options.
Yeah, they do have a. They've made a bunch. I think that my wife is mixed race. I think she is part Qatari, sort of the cat people,
That's the cat ones, yeah.
and part Simia, the monkey people.
Yes.
I think
How does
she's
that
packaged
manifest
part-
itself?
I think she has sort of a flat, round, human-like face, but she's got a beautiful set of Simia whiskers. Just a nice. She's got a beautiful bushy beard, and she has adorable cat ears and big cat eyes as well. I think she has very round cat paws. And long Simia arms. I think long arms and then big round paws at the end of them. And she has sort of a prehensile cat tail. So it looks like a cat tail, but it's prehensile, like a Simia tail. And I will say that she has unusually dexterous digits, similar to a Simia. She's incredibly good at climbing.
Excellent.
Yeah, and she's real pretty. She's got, I think, in addition to all of that, her fur is much more like a cat's fur, and it's a bit. It's not like as short as you would expect from a simian. And from a simia, it's like longer and luxurious, which means because she likes to climb trees, she has to spend a lot of time brushing it because it's very easy for leaves to get caught up in it. And I help her with that, of course. It is my duty as her husband, as her proud and happy husband. And perhaps that's what I'm doing right now. I'm currently brushing out some of the leaves and debris that she has collected in her various tromping rounds.
And what was her name?
Her name was Delilah.
Delilah. The next memory, a battle. Flashes of tusks and glowing eyes. Delilah falls from a cliff into the crevasse below. You hear her grab the side. The images change again. Roots woven into thick rock, with runes decorating them. You take aim and hear a resounding crack as everything around you shatters, and you fall deep into the mountain. Reginald, you open your eyes. You're standing on what's the word I'm looking for? An outcrop, looking once again over a vast woodland as you try and hold on to the memories you just witnessed. I haven't got my checks open. Make me a recall check. How well you do will be the number of questions you can ask about what you want to remember from those flashes. Or they can be new things. You can ask me questions about what might have been going on.
Okay. Oh man, I don't think I have anything I can add to a recall check because it's knowledge, and my knowledge is bad.
I will let you add whatever you wish. If you have I would say, have you got an expertise for this, maybe?
No, I have a -1 to knowledge checks. I don't think I have an expertise for this at all.
Okay, you can make it flat. You don't need to. You don't need to minus the 1.
All right, here we go. That's a 10 on my hope die.
Okay, and on your fear die?
A 3.
Okay, so 13 with hope. 13 with hope. You can ask 3 questions.
Oh boy. As I'm standing there, I'm thinking. I'm thinking back to that moment where I see Delilah fall. I hear the scraping of her claws against the stone. I ask myself, did I ever see her again?
You remember rushing to the side of the cliff and feeling a tusk hit your back. As you reach down and look to her, reaching your hand down, she grabs onto you. And with your last ounce of strength, you pulled her back onto the mountain.
And I don't remember what happened after that. I think that at least assuages that fear that maybe she lived. Because I imagine that after I got hit and started and managed to pull her up, I lost consciousness.
Yeah.
I think, what became of my stone-bearded ribbit friend?
You think, as you think back to the ribbit, you come again to the image of roots in rock deep within what appears to be a mountain. And you remember them casting spells and desperately trying to remove the runes. And you have no memory of anything happening to them. You just remember them casting spells non-stop.
I hope you're well.
And I will say with that, I will also give you your memory of your giant friend with multiple arms. Again, as you take aim at these roots with the blunderbuss, you see them purposefully jump into a crevice, their arms reaching out and grabbing at the arcane energy around them, forming it into chains as they plummet below.
Oh my. So last scene, grabbing, it was roots with runes on them?
Roots with runes on them, but you took aim at the wall which had these roots and the runes, and you fired your gun and everything just split and broke, and the mountain around you broke, and you fell, and you saw at the same time your giant friend leap and dive while sort of magically conjuring, not the rune magic, but the magic from within the mountain, and sort of pulling all of this energy together into chains. One more question.
Where did the boar go? What was the last thing? What was the last time I saw it?
For that question, I'm going to need a perceive check. Oh, sorry, instinct. Instinct.
Right.
I keep using the words that they put underneath the things and not the actual names of the thing. It's always just instinct, presence, knowledge. It's never like perceive, sense, navigate. It's just...
That is a 16 with an 11 on my hope die.
With that, you remember the battle where Delilah fell off the cliff, and you remember that tusk in your back. And as your consciousness was fading, you just remember, in your last breath, you turned around and fired a gun at the face of a boar, and you just see the tusks and the eyes snarling down on you. And that was the last time you saw them.
I'm going to take out some of my little bits and scraps of paper and photographs and stuff, and I'm going to hurriedly start because I know that I sometimes have difficulty remembering these things. I'm going to hurriedly start writing down descriptions of the people that I saw, descriptions of the area that I was in, perhaps the mountain has changed in years, I don't know, but perhaps I can still find those places. And I'm writing down the description of these roots with the runes. I'm writing down a description of my ribbit friend with the stone beard, my giant friend with multiple sets of arms who was making chains out of vines. Writing down Delilah's description and her name and as many things as I can recall about her, and that last I saw, she was still alive. And then I draw a very, as vivid as I can, a picture of the boar's face as I fired into it. And I want to sear that into my memory even more as like, I will find you and I will finish the job.
The one thing that really sticks are the glowing red eyes, the tusks, and the blast of almost arcane energy coming out of your gun. It was a bright blue that pushed the boar back off of you. And as you stand on this cliff top and look out, you see below you these strange, long-limbed creatures clattering over a sort of a big rock. And you hear below the shouts of people you met not too long ago. Right, everyone, we're going in to combat. It's happening. Oh, good luck, everyone. So
We're definitely prepared.
we're definitely
It's all
prepared
good.
for this.
Ready?
There is no initiative in Daggerheart. You simply go, and if I want to take over, I will spend fear tokens to do so. However, I will say I did end last session by one of the scorpions firing at you. So, with that being said,
Detachable stingers, right?
they have stingers protruding. They are scorpions on stilt legs. They are sort of this deep red, segmented bodies with these pincers at the front, giant sort of almost gold-looking pincers. And
Where is the...
sorry, go on.
Sorry.
No,
I was about to say, where is the stinger aiming?
Funny you should ask that, Otherus. Does a... Where's the stinger? Does a 13...
Where is Michelle, more importantly?
Oh, where is Michelle? Oh, no. Michelle? While I say that, does a 13 hit while we wait and see if we can get Michelle back?
Oh, I should know things like that.
You should still have an
I'm looking
AC.
at armor.
No.
No. That's
Oh, no. Here we go. Is anyone looking at their character sheet? I haven't got a character sheet open.
I'm looking
I
at
have
my
one.
character sheet, yes, but there's no...
Oh,
there's nothing that says
I
AC.
think you should be looking at evasion.
It's evasion and
sorry,
armor.
yes.
Evasion and armor are the
Yeah.
two.
Okay,
So what's your evasion?
so which one am I... 7.
Okay, so that does hit. So you are going to... So that means it hits, and now I'm going to roll damage. And then this is where you look at your minor, major, and severe thresholds. Michelle,
Okay.
welcome back.
Back.
Excellent. Good. Okie dokie. Why is this in a different place? Sorry, just putting this... Oh, that's a lot. Okay, right. You take... You take 13 points of damage. So, what you need to, so what's your minor to major to severe thresholds? What are the numbers on your character sheet?
They say I've got minor damage and then a number 8, and
Yep.
then a major damage, and then a 20, and then a severe damage.
So, major is 20. So you're falling between minor and major, with minor being 8. Is that right?
Yes.
13 is...
I don't understand because there's 3 things and 2 numbers.
Let me
But-
get
I think
there.
because mine is what you always get. So I think
Okay.
you'll-
So it's
so
over
like
your
because I could,
minor.
I think this
Yeah.
bit changed, didn't it? There used to be 3 numbers, now there's 2, now there's like a... Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
of course they've changed it,
That's-
haven't they?
yeah.
So,
yeah,
sorry, I haven't got a character sheet open. So that is with a 13. That is falling on the
in
major.
your exactly.
Okay.
So however many
That's
hit
2.
points. So that would
2
be
hit points.
2 hit points. You can use your armor to reduce it. So what score is your armor?
8.
8. So wow, that's
13. So you could go down. That would take you down to
5.
like
If you
7.
used-
There you go.
If
Yeah.
you used one slot, it would take you down to 5, which would mean you only take 1 hit point of damage.
Oh, okay.
How many armor
Sure.
slots are we supposed to have?
It will say on your character sheet.
6
Each
I've
class
got.
has a
Different-
particular
yeah,
one. So,
different
for
ones for
example, I've got 3 armor. No, I've got 6 armor slots, but my armor is 3. Sorry.
Yeah, see, I'm rubbish in combat, but I can soak up damage, and I am a big I'm a tank.
You're big beefy.
Big tanky boy.
Yeah.
Lovely. So you're gonna.
Okay, I will do that then. I will take
Lovely.
I will take a hit. I'm gonna literally. I don't know where it was aiming, but I'm gonna step forward, and I've got a little round shield, which probably is sort of comically small because it's probably built for a race that's smaller than me. But I'm gonna sort of see some things I've seen in books, and just kind of go down to the ground and kind of put it in front of the rest of the party.
Lovely.
Like a shield myself, but then also put my tiny shield in front of me.
Right, lovely. Now you may go. So you can all take turns at a time. Jeremy, you can see this from a distance. I will say you're what's a normal amount of distance away? Maybe 60 feet away from this.
Oh.
So, but up and down. So they're pretty close below you. Folarin, do you have a question?
I was just going to say, no. In fact, it's not a question. Can I as soon as the other that is us takes that damage and sort of really takes it on the chin, I'm just going to go, all right, lads, it looks as though we have found ourselves in a precarious situation, but I believe, as always, that together we will overcome. Because you see that? He took it on the chin. And we can all do the same. And that is me rallying the party.
Okay.
So that
Woo! Rally dice.
We will all get a d6 that we can spend to roll on action rolls, reaction rolls, damage rolls, or for clearing stress equal to the rally die result.
When do you get stress? I must remember that. When do you get a stress?
I feel like you can give us stress for random things, but we can also get stress to do some of our cool things.
Yes. Good. Okay, we'll go with that.
But we all have a rally die now, just so, and yeah.
I will let Jeremy have that as well. That we'll say that reaches up.
Oh, thank you.
Because I am kind.
Where do we mark? Is there our part
You
of
don't
the
know
sheet where we
Jeremy's
mark that
there, but
off?
Jeremy can hear you.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I'm
you
imagining
can
that
hear
the
Reginald.
echoing sound is coming up towards Reginald.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that OG was all about my friend all the time. I'm like, yes, I'm their friend.
Lovely. Okay.
Is there a spot to mark the rally dice on the sheet, or is it just?
There isn't, I don't think.
I
I think you
put
just
a
have to
dice
remember
out
it.
somewhere, yeah.
Last session, I just put a d6 in front of me and then put it away when I used it.
That's a way to do
No
it.
problem.
Okie dokie.
I think that buoyed by OG's excellent speech, Platty's gonna hop up and gonna slap this monster with my tongue.
Excellent. Make your attack roll.
Okay. So Platty just hops up and opens her mouth, and a big long frog tongue just comes straight out, ready to
Very
smack.
good.
And that's a 14 with fear.
Okay, 14 hits, but I take a fear token. Thank you so much.
Okay. And do 2d12 damage. I am marking a stress to do this. That is. Can I add the d6 after I've already rolled, or do I have to decide that before I roll?
we've said you can add it whenever until we are told otherwise by by people who know the rules better.
Then that's 11 altogether.
11. You needed 10 to do. So you've done a minor damage. So you've done 1 hit point to the one in the middle.
Nice. I am. Does the hope and fear stuff matter on damage rolls, or is it just?
No. It's just
That's
that's not.
Emily.
You're just 2d12 because that's your attack roll. That's
Right,
not.
got it.
Yeah.
Can I ask as well, how far are we? What range are we in currently?
Oh, that's a really good question. What are the
that is a good
options? They
question.
are
Sorry.
close.
Very
close.
It's close, very close. Melee is a range, I think, onto itself.
Sorry, everyone. We're learning together.
I think it's melee, very close, medium, and far. I think.
I would say currently you're medium to close.
Then the
If
close
that-
is good.
Close.
Close.
Close. Whatever you needed, you're close.
I needed to be close. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
although
'cause I
the
think-
image of Platty sending out the tongue and it just lolling in the air and then doing nothing is also very delightful.
No. You're close. I'm not going to take that away from you. Cool. Lovely. That's Platty's go. I mean,
to each
Platty
other.
can go again. Or you did roll with fear, so I would suggest you don't.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very scary to lick a big scorpion.
it's quite scary running it like this, I have to say, everyone.
I am going to, if it's possible, sort of look around and go, I'll take second then, shall I? And sort of dart in. And then I think I'm going to try and use an arcane barrage. So once per short rest, I can use an action to spend any number of hope to shoot a magical projectile that automatically strikes an enemy within close range. So roll a d6 equal to the hope you spent and deal that amount of direct damage.
Direct damage.
So can I just go up to the one that Platty's already hit and then spend my 2 hope to roll 2d6?
Yes, I think so. That sounds like you can, doesn't it?
I think that's how it works.
Yes.
So I think I sort of do that, and then as I do, I think my eyes just sort of dilate and flash and look extra particularly sort of feline. And I think you sort of see almost from the rocks and the plants, almost a vapor kind of comes off, and that kind of coalesces into these kind of like ghostly looking cats that all kind of like go up to these scorpions to start scratching them.
Stunning.
Ooh.
Oh, sick. And that's 9.
Is that so? That's 9 on the damage die.
Yes, 9 on the damage.
Okie dokie. You hit, so it is 1, but you don't hit the major threshold, so you've done 1 hit point of damage. Sorry, just to be sorry, I said you hit the minor threshold. There isn't a minor threshold. You just didn't reach the major threshold. Therefore,
You didn't hit the major,
you
yes.
1 hit point. Yeah.
Oh, hang on one second. Action roll or damage roll. Can I use my rally, because I actually do get a rally when I rally,
Yes.
to add to my rally to that die to see if I can hit the major threshold?
You
rally is
absolutely
rally
can.
with a
I will
rally.
say, yeah, you can. It's up to you.
What does that mean, Emily Bates?
That sounds like
So
it.
you heard what Platty got with her damage.
Oh, yes, I did.
They
And I didn't. Yes,
1
you're
hit point.
correct. Mathematics. Yes, with you.
Math. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but
Yes, no, you're right.
unlikely. Yeah. Okay, I've got 3 action tokens currently. Would anyone else like a go before I maybe jump in?
Yes, I would. I being bolstered and seeing my allies combating. These are scorpion creatures.
They are stilt scorpions.
Stilt scorpions.
They have these long legs. You have a vague memory of them being a nuisance to you when you were out. and
Like
about.
scorpions, but worse.
Right.
I will say
right.
you are at medium range from these scorpions.
Okay. I would like to then drop to one knee, line up a shot, and the one I know in a hunt you should always attack the weakest. Which one is the most injured of the group?
You can see the one that fired first is currently has small cats scrabbling at it, and also is
Ghost
suddenly.
cats.
Sorry, what was that? Ghost cats, small ghost cats. And a tongue is sort of retracting from it as it's leaving sort of almost a poisony looking like dent in its face.
Okay, then I would. Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start blasting. One of my, yeah, one of my. We can use experiences, right? Can we use experiences
If you
to
can
boost
explain
damage?
how they work, yes, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Because I have one of mine is Deathbringer, which I think you're allowed to just make them up, essentially, right?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah. I
We've already
kill
made
things.
them up. We're not making them up.
I kill things. It's one of the only things I can remember. I carry a stick that brings nothing but death to those I aim it at. And though I have lost my own, perhaps in exchange for all the lives I've taken, I've lost all memories of my own life, all connection to my own life. And all I have left is this instrument of death. And it's the only gift I have to offer. And so I must offer it to this stilt scorpion. And with Delilah's face in my mind, I'm going to take aim and blast at this thing. Is this 2d12s?
It's whatever your
attack?
action roll. Yeah, it will be 2d12. Yeah, 2d12.
Okay, cool.
And you spend a hope and you add whatever.
Yeah,
your
you need to
experience
spend a
gives you.
hope for that. Yeah.
Okay, I had 6, so I go down to 5. And that puts me at 9. Is there anything? Oh no, I get a plus. I'm shooting with the short bow, so it's actually plus 6, so that's a 12.
12 does hit. Roll your damage.
Okay. Let me just my
The rest of
D6.
you, as you are seeing these creatures appear, you suddenly hear and OG and Platty, you make your first attacks, and then suddenly from the top above you, you just hear this echoing blast as suddenly this blue arcane energy comes streaking towards these stilt scorpions.
Am I allowed to spend my rally die on damage?
You are.
You are.
Okay. Cool. Here we go. Okay, so that's going to be 14 points of damage.
Points, so close and yet so far. But you do 1 damage, and it. Oh wait, did you add your experience to your roll when you first hit? Oh, you hit anyway. It doesn't matter. But remember, you could have added Deathbringer, whatever your experience was.
Oh, I can add to that too,
but not to the damage. You just added.
Oh,
to the,
okay. Can I add any other experience to that?
No.
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
you can add experience to damage rolls. If someone knows differently, let me know.
Okay.
Doesn't
I
feel like
do
you
have
should.
also. Oh, I also have one where I can add. I can add to my proficiency by 1, which means damage, right? I have basically my Wayfinder. I have a subclass. My Wayfinder subclass. I have an ability called Apex Predator, which I can mark as stress to increase my proficiency by 1 on a damage roll. Additionally, whenever you deal severe damage to an enemy, they also mark a stress. Then it says 1d6 damage roll listed.
Well, I will
so I
say
guess
it
if
doesn't
I add
matter
that, that would
because
be-
you do kill this stilt scorpion because you hit. So how would you like this? There's three, but one you take aim. It's the one with the cats and the tongue. How do you? What part of it do you destroy?
I think I shoot. I aim for the base of the weapon, like specifically like its stinger. I want to shoot so that my blast severs the end of the stinger. But I'm thinking that it pierces through that stinger and then also lines it up so that it goes through the stinger and then hits the head of the beast.
Beautiful.
And I don't even shout out. I just rack another one. I'm in full hunter mode and just aiming again.
Did you roll with hope? when you
I
attack?
did.
You can go
I
again.
they were tied, actually. They were
Oh,
tied.
well, that was a critical hit. That was.
a critical hit.
Yeah.
Oh, what do I do now?
Well, you killed it anyway, so
You kill it even more.
I will
we
say
have-
because
you gain a hope as well.
You gain a hope. You can clear a
Okay.
stress, which I will say you probably should have taken. I probably should have made you take a stress at some point. But that's gone now, so don't worry about it. Where's criticals? Action rolls.
Can we do cleave? So I shoot through one and hit another?
I will say you can go again without
Okay.
spending a hope or anything like that. I won't.
Cool,
And I
I
won't add an action token for me for that because
Okay.
because of the critical.
I rack another arcane blast and aim at the next one. That is going to be. I'm not adding. Actually, so I can't add Deathbringer to the damage, right? I can only add
You
it
can
to
add
the
to the
attack.
attack, yeah.
Okay. I imagine a 13 hits anyway.
A 13
Would
does hit, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna stick with that then, and roll damage again.
With hope
I already
or fear?
This is with hope.
Lovely. Take.
I already had 6 hope, so what does that do?
You just don't take another one.
Yeah.
Okay, I just don't take another one. All right. And then am I allowed to add? I didn't add Apex Predator to the last one. Can I add it to this one?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Oh, that's 11 damage, and then I get to add my proficiency +1, so I guess that's 11 plus 4 now
For
instead of plus 3.
for 15.
Yeah, for 15. And then it says 1d6 as well listed. So is it that I add I
that
add
to
a
your
d6
damage?
as well?
Yeah. Add a d6.
Yeah. Okay. That's 17 points.
That is major damage. So you'll be doing 2 hit points to one of these. Whatever they're
Is that
called.
more than
Still
severe?
something.
Is
Yeah,
that more
there's
than
still
severe?
something.
It is not. No, major is between. It's major first, then severe. These
Okay.
are quite. Basically, they if you hit them,
Major first.
they don't have many hit points, but but it takes a lot to get to higher damage levels.
And I just let out under my breath, aiming again. I'm in full
Go for it.
mode. Am I allowed to attack one more time or no?
You can attack as much as you want. I'm just picking up action tokens every time.
Do
you
people want me to keep attacking, or do you want me to stop? I can stop if you prefer. Or
You
I can
hear
just
these
keep
2
shooting them.
blasts go, pow, pow, and you see one of the scorpions fall, and another one get a chunk of its leg blasted off.
I have a thing, but Folarin, if you wanted to go.
No, you please, no.
So I think Platty's noticed that someone is helping and shooting these things. So they're going to hop forward again into hopefully very close range.
Okay.
So the time likes to do this.
You can do that. Yeah.
You can move between one range, I'm guessing, during an action. Amazing. And I'm going to attempt Shadow Bind. I make a spellcast roll, which I assume is just 2d12 because most rolls are.
Yeah. But plus whatever your spellcasting modifier is.
Which is +3 because I spellcast with instinct. And anyone it succeeds against have their shadows temporarily pinned where they are, restraining them.
You can do a multiple area.
All enemies within very close range.
Lovely. Go for it.
Whoosh.
Wait, isn't there only one left now?
There's one has one.
Two.
One is looking very injured and one full health.
So I rolled 2 1s. Is that still a crit?
That is still a crit. So
Hey!
I will say, yeah, they both get hit. So sorry, explain to me again what that does.
All it succeeds against have their shadows temporarily pinned where they are, making them restrained.
Okay, so they
So Platy's hoping to make them an easier target for whoever is helping us.
They are. You see, as you. What does it look like when you cast a spell?
So I think what happens is that Platy jumps forward and does their little webbed finger movement that you've seen so many times before, and then slams their hands down, and from around the place, tiny little pointy stones that have just been scattered about come shooting to the corners of these shadows and just float as if under their own power, pointing down at the shadows.
Beautiful. And you suddenly see these scorpions start to sort of thrash and writhe and try and move. They are now restrained. They cannot move. They cannot get closer to you. They can still take actions. And I'm going to jump in now and take 2 of my action tokens. Also, you rolled a crit, so you take a hope as well, and you can clear a stress.
Yeah, the character sheet doesn't agree. I think it's because I didn't roll within the sheet, but I'll just write down that I have a hope.
You've got a hope. Congratulations. So both are going to take shots again at... actually, one is going... Oh, they're restrained. I'm going to say they can only aim at other us, because that is the way they were all facing before.
Oh.
8, I'm assuming, does 8 hit?
God, I really need to actually.
I think your evasion was
I
7.
can't remember what
my
you said.
evasion
Yeah,
was
I think
7.
you said
Yeah.
it was 7.
Yeah,
So,
it was. Yeah.
Where's my other D10 gone? Where did it go?
But I think, can you add your thing to your evasion? Is that actually?
What's my thing?
Sorry, I wasn't sure if you could add the rally roll to your evasion for a bit, but I don't think you can. But I do think you maybe can do a reaction to avoid a thing. Am I making that up?
Sorry, I was not listening.
I don't have anything that's a reaction.
Oh, okay, maybe. Okay,
I think it might
making
be
that up.
a bard thing, potentially.
Oh, fine.
One hits you for 14 damage. And one hits you for 17 damage. As these 2 stingers, like pincer thin, like absolute like needles, just go doo, doo. And you manage to get the shield in front of Smoik and protect the pig as these 2 darts hit you. You can use your armor to reduce any of that damage if you want, or you can just take it.
Yeah, how do I get armor back?
You can repair it in a rest.
Oh, okay. I will use an armor to reduce one of them.
Okie dokie. So take 1 down by 8, which brings you down. If you take the 14 down by 8, that brings you to 6, which is your minor. So you can just take 1. It's under your major. There is no minor damage, minor threshold. They got rid of that.
Yeah.
So many new
I'll
rules.
take 1. So I'll take 1 from one hit and 2 from the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Lovely.
Nice.
I'm gonna shout.
I'm
Sorry, over us.
You are quite forgiven, and you are a clever beast indeed for keeping them so still. And the other that is us reaches behind, and obviously everyone's behind them and sees this enormous greatsword stuck to their back, and they reach up behind them and fumble with a strap, and then pull out a tiny little dagger, which they throw towards the one of the ones that just hit them.
Make your attack roll.
I shall make my mark.
Ever so slightly anticlimactic there, I thought. All right, but that's all right.
But make me a insight check while this is happening. Instinct,
Ooh.
sorry.
That's a 19 with hope.
19 with hope absolutely hits.
Yeah.
Roll
very
your
exciting.
damage. Which one are you aiming at?
That's...
There's one that's slightly injured and one that is very... Oh, sorry, one that is not injured and one that is very injured.
Let's go with very injured.
Okay.
Then might as well. So then I'm going to do 2d8 plus 1 magical damage. That is 14 magical damage.
14. You take the final hit point of this creature as this dagger pierces it square between the eyes, and it just sort of slumps down, its shadow still restrained. It almost doesn't fall, it just sort of dies, still standing.
Oh.
For science!
Thank you, Brad. That was pretty cool, actually.
Abbott, can you make me an instinct roll?
Can I? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I got a 14 with fear.
14 with fear. As you are watching all of this going on in front of you, this is a battle. This is terrifying.
Oh dear.
As the other us stands up and reaches behind them and grabs this dagger, you see a faint glow from the sword. A sort of a pulse of blue light just sort of glows and dissipates.
Other us, aren't you going to use the big sword to defend us?
I also second the big sword looks quite cool. I'd love to see the big sword.
What a big sword you have!
Use the big sword!
Wait, is Reginald alive?
You just heard gunshots coming from the thing. Everyone's like, yeah.
That was just like it's gunshots, but that's no indication that Reginald's alive. Reginald might be alive, but back to the big sword.
I'd like to shoot again, and I was like, "I'll cover you!" And shoot at the last of the three.
Okie dokie.
At the last of the three scorpions.
Make your attack.
How many times am I allowed to add one of my experience? Like as long as I have
If you
this
spend
hope,
a
the
hope,
for
you
it?
you can spend it every time, as far as I'm aware. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I'm
cool.
concerned, so I think that's fun.
So that's gonna be. Ooh, does a 9 hit?
A 9 does not hit.
Okay.
I am so pleased you have joined us from wherever you went. I think that you could do better. Once you attempted an action roll, before the consequences take place, I can offer assistance of words of support, and you may re-roll your dice.
Oh!
That's the result of this new roll.
Love that. Excellent.
That boosts me to, I believe, considering I spent the hope, that boosts me, I think, to a 21.
Oh, definitely hits.
Good
Yes.
use of the power.
Yeah.
That was
Roll
great. That was
your
less
damage.
bardic inspiration and more sort of deprecation, but I liked it.
I think you can do
It's,
that.
the power is called
Bardic
reassurance.
deprecation.
I'm going to take another stress and do Apex Predator again.
Great.
To add an extra d6 of damage. So right now I rolled 6 on the 2 dice. I also rolled, this time I rolled the attack with fear. So does that mean I lose a hope or I just don't gain one?
I just get a token. Don't mind me.
Okay. So the 6 plus 3 is 8, and then we're going to roll again. Oh, no, 6 plus 4, rather, is going to be 10.
Yeah.
And then we're going to add another d6, which is another 6. That's 16 points of damage.
Just hit the major threshold, and as you blast down, you take off another chunk of yet another one of these scorpions, reducing it to looking very, very injured. So with that, it's going to do a last-ditch attempt. It is still restrained. Sorry, other us, so I am going to continue to aim at the party's tank, which is nice. Oh, but that's a 6.
That's not gonna hit.
It does
Yay.
not. It tries to release itself from this restraint. Is there any way it can get out, Patty?
great question. The card here does not say. I wonder if there's a longer version. It just says temporarily pinned. I don't
So
know.
I guess it's my decision. I will say for now it is still restrained. I'm going to spend 2 of your fear tokens that I have gathered to release it, and it is going to jump down and rush at Platty.
That's fair.
And it's going to make a pincer attack, and it's going to try and grab you in its jaws. And that is a pincer attack. Is a 12 to hit.
Yes, my evasion is 11.
Okie dokie.
Just saying that when it kind of scuttles past, kind of bolstered by OG and Reginald's kind of shouts, like as it goes past, the other that is us kind of goes to like looks like they're gonna sort of try and get the greatsword to try to intercept the stilt scorpion, and puts both hands on the handle and pulls, and nothing happens, and they just kind of watch.
As you put your hands on the sword, your vision goes black, and you just hear, "It's not quite time yet, my dear," and suddenly you're back in the fight. And as you turn, you see this creature grab Platty between its pincers, and it's going to do 18 points of damage.
Whoop.
Woof. Okay. So that would be severe.
Okay.
How does the armor thing work?
So what number is your armor?
3.
3. So for every slot of armor you take, you can reduce that by 3. So you can reduce that 18 by 3.
Okay, I'll spend a slot then to bring it down to major.
Okay, great.
Oh, that's a question. Are you allowed to use multiple slots at once?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So you take it down to major, which is for you, I believe, 2 hit points.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Cool. So mark an armor slot and mark 2 hit points.
Yeah, and I think you just hear a sort of a crit.
Lovely.
Can I run after this creature as this is happening? Just sort of basically try to make eye contact with it and literally just start going, look me in the eyes. Yeah. Look, ignore them. Right? That's a bit rude. Look me in the eyes. And I'm gonna make a spellcast roll to basically cast Hypnotic Shimmer.
Okay.
Within close range. So I believe I'm rolling 2d12. And that's a... damn you. That is a 16 plus 3. That's a 19 with fear.
Okay. It hits, so that does it. Yeah.
Excellent. So, on the success, once per short rest, you create an illusion of flashing colors and lights. But I think for me, it's just that my eyes kind of shine bright and become particularly, again, predatory. Like you sort of, I think this creature sort of looks into my eyes and almost sees sort of 1,000 years of sort of feline predators stalking their prey in the jungle, and is sort of feels this kind of like primordial fear that it is about to be eaten, and it's now stunned.
Great.
Enemies you succeed against. Oh, and I deal them a stress.
Oh, lovely. Okay, mark a stress.
Nice.
You see,
so they
it is
can't move or act
fixated.
until the condition is cleared.
Great. It is fixated on you, and with that, its pincers loosen and Platty drops from them. I will say it's stunned. It is not moving.
Can I then really quickly go like, excellent, and then I'm going to take out a sort of rapier, which appears to come from out of nowhere, but it's this kind of very fine and sort of elegantly crafted looking sword, and just attempt to stab it through.
Yes, you may make an attack roll.
While OG does this to the creature, the other that is us is going to kind of make a dive for Platty.
Great. I will say without much difficulty, you're able to get to Platty. This creature is stunned. It is fully locked in, looking down with its stilt legs, looking down at OG.
That is a 15 with fear.
15 hits, but thank you for my fear.
Yes, you're welcome. All right, and then I'm going to roll 2d8 plus 2. And that is 10. That's 12.
12 is enough to take its final hit point, which it would be anyway. But you hit. How would you like to destroy the final stilt scorpion?
I think it is as simple as once it is stunned, I sort of look it almost in the eyes the entire time, draw the sword, and just kind of really slowly, just almost take the time to figure out where its heart is, and just kind of gently push it through, and just go, no offense, it's not personal, it's just business. Yeah?
You
All
hear
right.
a clattering of the mandibles as they kind of flick together and it collapses onto the floor.
At this point, I think Abbott pulls out a piece of paper, says, here is the spell I was looking for. Oh, right, sorted, right. Puts it away again.
Lovely. You see Levine next to you, Abbott, this tall feline figure with these stilt legs made out of wood and vines, turns to you and goes, yes, I was about to do something too.
Yeah, well, because I had it. I knew it was in there somewhere. Yeah.
And you notice that Evening over Low Lakes, while this whole battle was going on, had her bow out, and she was just looking in other directions for other threats. She was a complete lookout for the whole thing. I'm just gonna jump in here for a little Daggerheart thing. They ask you to make NPCs do things that are sort of either useful to the party but not attack rolls, which
so
I
that
think
it
is quite
doesn't-
nice. I think
Yeah.
that's
I
it
like
means
that.
that you never get the glory of unless you think it's necessary for a story purpose, which I think is nice.
NPCs should only buff.
Lovely. And with that,
While
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, while OG's going for the creature, while Abbott is rustling around, the other that is us kind of almost kind of like goes over, makes a sort of cocoons Platty's body in case OG's, it's sort of happening at the same time as OG's attack, just in case it doesn't go well, and there's something else coming, and kind of while all of this action kind of is going on around, they're going to say to Platty, I can help you. I don't understand, but sometimes I can hear the mountain and it will help me help you. And I'm going to put my giant hand with my sort of fungally mushroomy tendrils onto Platty's forehead, and when I spend my healing time revealing something about myself or learning something about the person I'm healing, I can spend 2 hope to heal 2 hit points or 2 stress.
Wow.
Hey, that's beautiful. As you place your giant hand on this tiny frog compared to you head, you see almost illusory other hands place upon yours, and it almost looks like a stack of hands are placed upon Platty's head, and you will see this almost like ghostly apparitions of hands placed upon Platty.
Through the mushroom tendrils, the 2 bulbous eyes are just kind of poking through in between, looking up at you. And Platty's just-
Careful not to poke her in the
yeah, the ghostly hands are sort of.
I will say the ghostly hands look like they're maybe made of rock and stone.
Platty's like, oh, thanks. Oh, that was really sore, but it's feeling better now. I see why they call you the other that is us. Makes
I'm so
sense.
sorry. And Levine comes over. I don't want to worry anyone, but I do think you should get out of the Shatterwood right now. If that, we made quite a lot of noise. Do you know who that is? And they pull it
Hello?
out. Hello.
Hello, you're all down there.
Oh yeah, no,
Hi.
that's our mate. Yeah.
He
No, we thought he
is
was dead,
one
but he
of
seems
us.
to not be dead.
Oh, I said he wasn't dead. I said he wasn't dead.
as well. I
Oh,
might
no,
still
I
be dead. Who
I
knows?
was 100% sure he was dead. I was 100% sure you were dead.
Maybe we were all dead.
No,
It's
no
not
one's
Lou.
no,
You ever think
no
about
one's
that?
dead. Well, no one's dead. I
What,
said he
zombie?
wasn't
Maybe
dead.
this is where we go when we die.
You should probably come down.
You could be right.
Certainly. I immediately begin I grabbing onto things, lengthening my limbs, just without even thinking about it, just whoop, whoop, and just sort of climbing down.
Make me a
Amazing.
strength or an agility check. Up to you.
It's going to be agility. I'm just letting you know that.
Lovely.
That is with hope. That's a what is that? 16.
16, yeah, easily. You very nimbly, and you watch as these metallic arms with sort of these fungus growing on them just sort of extend, almost like pistons, grabbing into different parts of the rock to get the perfect footholds. And Reginald arrives at the base of the mountain.
Go, gadget arms!
Yes, they do go, don't they? They
You
go,
are
and they are gadgety.
Quite fascinating. And Reginald, you see a Qatari that has legs made of wood and vines, sort of replacing where clearly they lost legs in some kind of accident.
Well, you are quite fascinating as well. And so, frankly, I'm sorry for the loss of your original limbs, but these are very impressive specimens.
Oh, thank you.
Well
I made
done.
them myself. So.
Oh, thank you.
Who
I
made
don't
you?
know what happened to my original body. I don't even know what it looked like.
Oh, that's. Original body.
I woke up like this. And then I print my vines. So what's been happening with all of you? I've been on a bit of a spiritual journey into snippets of my own past. I'm very sad about it.
I'm so sorry. Can I suggest we have this conversation inside, and that they point to where the rock that the stilt scorpions come over is covering the entrance to a cave. Ooh. And they're sort of...
I lower my gun and start backing in slowly so that everybody else can run. I was like, I'll retreat.
Lovely.
The one who is amphibious, or are you okay to walk?
Oh, I'm fine now. You did that rock hand majigger, and I'm feeling pretty good actually. Thanks.
I am so pleased.
Hey, good job looking after Smoinks as well.
As you move into the cave, suddenly Evening Over Low Lakes shouts, "I think we've got a problem." And Longstrider Levine walks over, and they stand next to Evening Over Low Lakes, who is looking out into the distance. And as you all see, another slab with more forest on it is approaching at a rapid pace. It is flying across the mountain. You can see birds flying the opposite direction, getting off of this slab. You can hear the sound of animals. This piece of woodland is about to crash into the forest that you currently stand in. And
does that look like a normal speed, or is this something...
Make a knowledge roll for me.
I've never seen it, but... That is 14 with fear.
With fear, you know, you've studied the mountain, and you know this looks far too fast. This is absolutely not something that the mountain would normally do. And with that, Levine and Evening Over Low Lake start pushing you all into the cave, and they go, "You have to get underground now." And Evening Over Low Lakes sort of clings to the arm of Levine as they push you into this cave.
Oh, hurry.
You're inside.
Yeah.
And do they follow behind us, or
they
they
stay at the
out?
entrance, looking out, and Levine is just staring, sort of almost.
Will you
dumbstruck.
be all right out here?
I just need to see what happens.
Levine, it's no good seeing it if you don't survive. Come on.
This isn't normal. The Shatterwood, it never joins.
Right. Can I walk over and try and scoop them up? I'd like to just scoop them.
You can.
Right, come on.
No, wait. And they get pulled.
No time to dawdle.
Right.
Just sort of walk.
Evening Over Low Lakes sort of pushes them in and goes, "They're right. It's no good if we're hurt." And they push you far into this cave, and you can see there's a tunnel that goes down and down and down. It is a steep angle.
I think I'll just move the rock that was in front of the door to block the view, so Levine can't be distracted by it.
Oh yes, thank you. We really should get to Hognito. Everything's wrong, isn't it? Everything's wrong. This isn't... Sorry, this isn't normal. This isn't what the mountain... It's normally not like this. I don't... Sorry. And I'm going to spend 2 of my fear tokens, and Levine is absolutely out of this and is not focusing and is not going to be of any use to you in the coming conversations.
It is not normal, but I will tell you what is normal, and that is our efficiency, our ability to work together as a team, and quite frankly, our ability to do the impossible. I'm very proud of all of you, and I do feel that as long as we stick together, we will be able to accomplish the impossible. That is my rousing speech. So once per long rest, you can use an action to give a heartfelt, inspiring speech. All allies who can hear you clear 2 stress,
Okay.
which I think
Gorgeous.
some people need more
Jeremy,
than
I
others.
think spent some stress.
Yeah, I
so-
spent a couple of stress in that fight.
I took a stress last episode.
Lovely.
Oh, boom! You can clear up to 2, so I think you're all
Okay.
good.
Lovely,
I had
thank you.
2, which are now gone as well. Thank you.
Oh.
Evening over Low Lakes sort of goes down this corridor ahead of you, and there's a clearing down here. I don't know if we'll be far enough away. Longstrider, please, and it's just sort of trying to pull them down the corridor.
Wait a sec,
I'm-
'cause
Sorry.
we had some missing people, and one of them has turned up. Reginald, did
Oh.
you see any of the other missing people wherever you were? Because so far you're the only one who we've actually found.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were just simply saying that in general you'd found missing people and I was one of them. My
No,
apologies.
just you. It's just you. You're
no,
the only one.
Well, were any of the people that you were missing, for example, a ribbit with a stone beard, or perhaps a giant with multiple sets of arms, or my wife?
Platty, what happens if you don't shave?
I've never tried, but I don't think. I mean, one time for Halloween, which exists in this universe, I've decided, I did use the stones to make a sort of.
Platty,
So-
but you're not missing, so you're fine.
Oh,
You're not
I
the
know,
missing
I'm-
person.
I'm
You're
not
here.
missing.
We found Platty. Platty's
I'm
fine.
here.
No, yeah,
I'm
all right.
here.
They're
yeah.
here.
Yeah, I forgot. Sorry, it's a stressful
Other
day,
us. Make an instinct check.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. That is 13 with hope.
As Reginald mentions, a giant with
Would it be
multiple
sensible
arms.
to use my rally dice?
You're fine. You
Okay.
remember some of the iconography of your order, and some of the statues are of this being, this huge, tall being with multiple arms that controls the movements of the mountain.
I am, or half of me is the only giant I have ever known. But in the tomes that I have read, I have seen one who is as giant as I, but more so and with more limbs, and they had powers and understanding of the mountain and contributed to its movements. We've lost 2 people.
2 people have disappeared. I assume they're okay. We're going to end shortly this part, so do continue, and we'll. We're okay.
I'm saying that to Reginald in answer to his question of
Right.
whether we recognise any of those people.
Right.
But
so
I
the answer
did
is
I
no.
did not I do not know if, and I have not known whether this was a real person. I was always under the impression they were a mythological or hypothetical figure, but perhaps not if you have seen them in the flesh.
So, sorry, are you saying that, Reginald, are you saying you saw Avarus's god?
Well, I remember. It's very rare that I remember anything. But in this case, I remember one of my companions was a giant who possessed multiple sets of arms, and we were battling along with our ribbit friend and my dear, dear Delilah.
I paused for a moment.
We were battling these runic vines covered in runes, and the ribbit was using magic to try and repel them, and I pulled out my trusty blunderbuss and started blasting and absolutely shattered everything. As I was tumbling into certain oblivion, I've witnessed my giant companion grabbing onto the vines and fashioning them into sort of chains. It was very impressive. I don't know what became of them. That's my last memory of them. So perhaps, in the process, they ascended to godhood.
You're friends with God, or possibly created him.
Maybe all of the above.
OG.
Maybe I created your god.
I see.
This
OG, can
is
you make me
very troubling.
a knowledge check?
Sure. I think as I do so, I just look at him for a second and go, Reginald, my friend,
Yes.
how old do you reckon you are?
I don't reckon anything these days. My reckons are gone. I'm reckonless.
It does happen to the best of us. That's a 12 with hope.
Okay.
That's a knowledge, you said, right?
Yeah, knowledge.
Yeah, 12 with hope.
To recall something. This tickles something in the back of your brain, a story from your grandmother that she told you about the sacrifice to control the mountain. But you can't get much more detail from your brain. You can't quite remember it.
I think all I will do is say, like almost just whisper those words, like sacrifice to control the mountain, so that it's like in the air, in the ether, and then go, all right, sounds like we've got ourselves a bit of a mystery then, innit? We going to dig a little bit further?
Well, I don't have a shovel, but I'm happy to dig.
You've all hung back slightly as Evening Over Low Lakes has ventured ahead, and you just hear, you should probably all see this. You all find yourself, you've gone deep into this mountain, having watched from the distance a portion of the Shatterwood flying towards the current slab that you were on. You are going down and down. Currently, it's just sort of a dank, rocky tunnel. And you've heard Evening Over Low Lakes call out and say, I think you might all want to see this. And as you get closer and you look, she is at the edge of this tunnel. There is just a sheer drop. She is at a hole and she is sort of crouching, almost like lying down, peering over the edge into this vast, vast cavern. Sort of hundreds of feet circular diameter, and it looks carved. It is perfectly cylindrical, and you can see in the distance on one of the far walls figures with magical pink and purple chains holding them to the wall. You spot Galvora. Platty, you spot Harsel. I again so regret that name, and I've lost my notes. Sorry. You see, and basically you see all the people who were missing. And
Except
they're
Reginald.
And there are these sort of pink, apart from Reginald, on the floor you can make out figures moving around, maybe about 8 figures, and they're all some casting spells on the ground, some looking up to the ceiling. And as you glance up, you see roots inscribed with runes, and to the side a sheer wall of arcane energy with absolute just pinks, blues and purples just rushing, almost like a waterfall down one of the walls, or one part of the cylindrical room, and you can hear a rumbling in the distance. I don't think they've seen me. Be very quiet.
As they say that, can I just then go, "Yeah, let's keep it that way, shall we?" And just kind of like move everyone back into the little sort of crevice that we've come from,
Yeah.
and just go, "All right, my friends, it does appear as though we have landed ourselves in a bit of hot water. How would we like to proceed?"
First of all, I need everyone to make a finesse roll. We're going to do a group check, and I'm just going to get the rules for them up.
What's that?
Finesse is one of your...
Oh, no, I just meant more like, what's happening?
Oh, I see. Where's the group check?
What's going on in
Mechanic
general?
Gone.
Is that
I'm sure
cocked?
there was a check
That's
somewhere.
cocked.
18 for old
18 is
Reginald.
definitely a Sorry, I'm
That
just trying to
is
find the group
a-
check bit, but I can't find it.
12 plus 2 is 14 with hope. Oh, thank
Oh
God.
yeah, and what's everyone with hope and fear? So Jeremy, was that with fear? With
That
hope?
was with hope.
With hope. 14.
I
did you
almost
say?
always get hope for some reason.
11 with fear.
Okay, that's a fail.
I also
Are
rolled
we
an
allowed to
11 with-
spend hope to help others?
Yes, you can. I believe if you have a relevant experience that you can. Is that,
Nature
oh no, you
born.
know you just can. Sorry, you know you just can as long as you can describe
Yeah, that's
how you're doing it.
advantage.
Yeah,
Right.
and you give
well,
advantage,
I'd
which
like
gives a
to-
d6.
I'd like to instinctively, without really realizing it, spread some of my cultures across the floor as I move, creating a soft bed, muffling everybody's footsteps as we creep along.
Oh, that's what we're rolling finesse for.
Lovely.
Oh, right.
I will let
sorry.
you give that
Seems
something
to
terrible's
one of
happening.
the other players for advantage. Just because. Actually, okay, you can give that to everyone. So everyone gets a d6 with that because that's lovely.
Excellent.
But spend,
okay,
yeah, you
in that
spend a hope
case-
for that.
And
In that
do
case-
is that offset by the fact that I just rolled with hope? And
Yeah, it would be.
gained a hope
Yeah,
as
no,
well?
you gain a hope for that. So yeah,
Still at 6.
I will get rid of them.
If everyone gets to take advantage of that, I just rolled a 6, so that means I now have a 20 with
Okay,
hope.
very good.
I was about to use my rally die because I also rolled an 11 with fear, but that rally die is now Jeremy's d6 instead. So I've still got my rally die, but that was a 5, so that's now a 16 with fear.
Very good.
I'm
Platty.
now on 12.
Okay, and Abbott.
I got 22 with hope.
Lovely. So that is a group success. Platty, you, as you are walking along, you're very excited to see everything, and your fingers sort of almost instinctively just start to wiggle, and you hear stones start to dislodge and fall from the tunnel down to the floor. And as you see this, you're all able sort of to grab Platty and pull her back as she's just and sort of hold her hands before the excitement of seeing something new and different and having to be stealthy. The magic takes over slightly, but you are able to bring her back.
Big vaudeville hook just goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I quickly ask a question? In between the previous encounter and now, the walking, does any of that count as a short rest, or did we need to have declared that beforehand?
No, it does not.
Cool. Just
Evening
wanted to
over
make-
Low Lakes turns to you all and goes, I don't think they've seen us. If people did want to sit for a bit and repair stuff, I can help out with armor stuff. I'm quite good at it. I'm not sure Levine's going to be much use. In fact, and you can just see Levine is sort of muttering to themselves, going, "It doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be happening like this. This isn't right. It doesn't make sense. How does that work?" And they are gone. Levine's eyes are glazed over. In fact, I might take them back up the tunnel slightly, and I'm going to remove 2 NPCs by spending 2 fear tokens, and take Evening over Low Lakes is going to remove Levine and bring them further away in order to help you, but also taking away 2 of your potential allies.
Oh, I think that's probably for the best. All right, friends. Do we take a bit of time to rest up and then attempt to daring escape, or what are we doing here?
It seems like it is not an escape that is warranted, but a rescue.
Yes, nobody left behind. I say we can take them.
Well, you've got that big gun, so
Yes, and if we can't take them, we're already dead.
Well, we haven't decided that we're dead. We've just considered that it's one of the many possibilities
May or
of
may not be
existence
dead.
that we are already dead.
Allow me to clarify. Regardless of whether I've actually died, as people use the term, for example, when we slayed those scorpions ruthlessly, even though they were just animals defending their own territory, we slaughtered them ruthlessly as they tried to defend themselves. As we slaughtered those dumb beasts, whose lives were extinguished, that's different from what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I already lived a whole life with friends and loved ones, and now that's gone forever. as far as I can tell, one of them may have become a god. The rest have probably perished. And everything that I did no longer matters to any of you. It's as though I've been largely erased from existence. And so I am, in effect, already dead. And there's nothing that I can ever do about that. And you simply can't imagine how much it hurts.
But what if you'd published during your lifetime? Then the publications might still exist.
Frankly, if there's any publication that I made, I am so disconnected from it that at this point, though I've been wandering around for some time, I've encountered no one that has any memory of it. So either my sense of identity has drifted so far that I don't even know what my old name was, or all copies of it have been largely lost, and therefore, again, I am essentially dead.
Okay, so Reginald, I'm just gonna. Oh, after you, Platty. Sorry.
I just wanted to say that I'm sorry you're going through all that. Sounds a bit more, quite heavy stuff. And you seem like quite a cheery chappy a lot of the time, but that is quite sad actually. And I just want to say I'm sorry because I don't really know what it's like to have lots of people around you. At least not until I met you all. And I feel like I'd be really sad if I lost you. And I haven't known you for that long. And Reginald, I've known you even less because you were gone. And I was quite sad when OG kept saying you were dead. So I have to imagine it's 100 times worse what you're going through. So I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Patty just gently pats the arm awkwardly with the webbed hand.
And I think I'm going to also come in and like sort of pat you and just go, to be very clear, I wasn't happy that you were dead. I just suspected that out of all the possibilities that lay before us, it was most likely that you were dead.
Understandable.
And without even like intending to, I'm spreading tendrils just around the group, around people's arms and shoulders, like they're all just sort of hanging there, and so that everybody has like an arm around them within the vicinity. And I look around and I say,
I know that I have a cheerful affectation, but frankly, I'm not sure if I can turn that off at this point. I'm not sure if it's a coping mechanism that I developed to deal with the pain, or simply that whoever made me this way removed any ability for me to express my sadness except through literal words. But I want you to know that I hurt very deeply, and I very much appreciate all of the sympathy that you have shown me. The depths of my sorrow know no bounds, but by golly, you're swimming into them, and for that I commend you.
Oh, well, I'm amphibious, so I'm quite good at swimming,
As you extend these sort of fungi tendrils to everyone, and you reach out and you feel connection again, Reginald, you feel more images and memories start flooding back to you. You remember the surname of your wife before she married you. Delilah Jarbone.
Can you spell that?
Jarbone.
Jarbon?
Bone. Jarbone.
Oh, Jarbone. Okay.
You have yet more flashbacks of your friend, the giant. And you remember that you know him only as the Mesolith.
Mesolith?
Mesolith. And you remember the day you fired into the cave, into the roots, and everything split. And you remember watching the roots tear apart, splitting a once giant forest into multiple pieces.
I turn to, I'm going to turn to the other that is us, and I say,
In this moment of interpersonal connection, I think you've all managed to jog my memory a bit. Your god, are they perhaps called the Mesolith? Does that name ring any bells?
The other that is us is visibly shocked by this. And they say, the Mesolith is the spirit that is the mountain.
The other that is us. As you say this, you hear a voice in your head. Tell my old friend I say hello.
and you see them just kind of glaze for a second and then raise their hand to their head, and they say, "Your old friend says hello."
The mesolith! Are you in contact with the mesolith?
I think so. I have had doubts as I wanted to strive for answers and science, but the voice, it is in my head, but I cannot control it or connect to the minds of my people. But I seem to be able to connect to the mountain.
Very interesting. I bore a connection to your friend as well, though perhaps not in the same way, to your god, rather. I also got another piece of information, and they give a bit of information about a perspective on what's happening right now. Those vines, you remember, all of you, remember those vines I told you about? The ones with the runes on them, the ones that the mesolith fashioned into chains for himself. Well, I remember that when I shot them, it split the whole mountain into multiple pieces, or rather, the whole forest into multiple pieces. Seems to have a catastrophic effect, for which I realize I may need to apologize to someone.
Are you saying you shattered the wood?
Possibly. I may be the one who shattered the wood.
Are you saying that after all these years of staring at pebbles and carefully documenting everything, you found out the secret of this mountain through vision quests?
Well, vision quests and friendship.
If you didn't have a publication before, I suspect you may do now.
Can I
jump in the air
roll a
and click
little?
my heels.
Can I roll with all this new information? Can I roll another knowledge just to see if this
Absolutely
aligns with
can.
any?
Do you share the name of your wife, Reginald?
If y'all are asking for like more details, then I would be forthcoming.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If you're asking for like, tell us everything you could remember.
Yeah, I'll be
So
taking
maybe
some
just write
notes as
everything
well.
down. Yeah.
Yes,
And I eventually get,
yes, and my lovely, lovely wife, Delilah Jawbone. I guess it'd be Jawbone in this case. Jawbone.
That is a 6.
She liked to be called Jabonnet.
16 with hope.
16 with
Jabonnet.
As he says the words Jarbonnet. The story your grandmother used to tell you about the founders of the mountain. Jawbone, one of the very first cities to be built. Built in honor of a fallen hero and doomed to fall itself. The people who survived the Jawbone inversion created the crawling villages.
Oh.
And you know you are descended from that line.
Right. And when I know that I'm descended, like not in an apocryphal sense, like in a sense where I'm like, no, that's history rather than legend.
It's legend, but it's your grandma's version of a legend, and you know
Yeah,
there's truth
fine.
in it. She always
Okay.
said that the Jawbone, the founder of Jawbone, was your ancestor.
How many generations back do I think that is roughly?
Thousands of years.
Right. I'm just gonna turn to Reginald and go. All right. Good news and bad news. Your wife, I suspect. Well, she did a very great thing. Very impressive stuff. She went on to live an impressive life, and in her passing, she leaves a significant legacy. But
Oh.
the bad news is that you should be claiming an old age pension as like you're quite old.
How old?
Couple. Oh gosh. 50, give or take, couple
60?
thousand, I'd say.
65? Wait, sorry?
Thousand.
65,000 years old?
Well, that might be an exaggeration, but definitely thousands of years old. Yeah.
Other us, you
Well,
know
not
your
a young
order
man.
has been around for over 3,000 years. Your order alone.
My order, who are dedicated to understanding the questions posed by the mesolith, has existed for greater than 3,000 years.
Oh. Oh my.
I'm gonna be like standing by Platty and just sort of like sigh and say, we should have gone into history or archaeology. No revolutions in botany happening here. It's the way it goes with science, you know.
No, I thought rocks were really old, but it turns out it's this guy.
Yeah, it's just this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should have done something else with my life.
Platty, make an instinct check.
That needs to be the tagline of this episode. I thought that rocks were important, but it turns out it's just this guy.
My instinct, that is a 13 with hope.
With hope. You look at the small rocks around you and you think back to all the times standing on a mountain, ignoring the greater picture and focusing down and down on the little things. The things that were small, that interested you. And you notice that pebbles are moving, very slightly. Just tiny shakes. No one else seems to notice, but you notice the little things. You look out into the roof of the cavern that you can see, and you see these roots woven into the rock with arcane runes of all shapes and colours. And they're just pulsating, just very slightly in colour. Almost imperceptible, apart from one who studies the mountain, at the minutiae.
Can I just say that while like Platty's just having this like moment and epiphany almost, like that they're just sort of tuning out like Abbott in the background, who's telling this like involved story about how this one colleague, they just like left some food out and then it went moldy and then they discovered something really important they hadn't even tried, and here's me going on work.
As you tune it out, you sort of glance out into the cavern and you hear another voice in the background saying, "Family, we must come together," and it sort of muffles in and out. And it twigs something somewhere. You make me a knowledge roll.
Mm-hmm. It's just not fair, but you know, that's the way science is.
Abbott,
and, you
this
know...
is you making.
Oh, that was me.
Roll.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was
Platty.
still
I think I might have said the wrong name.
What am I rolling? Sorry.
Knowledge.
I think I'm trying to console Reginald by just being like, but here's the thing about being older is that, you know, there's much wisdom that comes from it. And yeah, everything that you knew and loved is been disintegrated into dust and forgotten by the annals of time. But you get to start anew, and isn't that exciting? Kind of, a little bit, yeah?
I rolled a 16 with hope.
Okay. It shouldn't be, but that's the voice of your professor. Alexander Bishop is calling out to people below.
But I'm a missing person. Sort of missing. I thought missing from me.
It is nearly time. The wood rejoins. You have all had a short rest. I will say throughout this, you can have done whatever you can do on a short rest.
Oh, no. Oh.
I believe.
Don't know what that
let
is.
us Google together.
No one knows what that is.
I believe on a short rest you can have mended
Yes.
like armor slots. So I think you can have regained back armor slots. That's all I know.
You can tend to wounds and clear 1d4 hit points, either on yourself or an ally. You can clear stress. Oh, hang on. You can also swap any domain cards in your loadout for any in your vault, so you can switch your abilities around if you would like.
How do you do that?
Don't know on the character sheet itself, I'm afraid. And then you can do two of the following. So, tend to wounds, clear stress, repair armor, or prepare. So, tend to wounds, clear 1d4 hit points, clear stress, 1d4 stress, repair armor, 1d4 armor slots, prepare, if you choose, you can gain a hope. If you choose to prepare with one or more members of your party, you each gain 2 hope. So you can if more of you take the prepare action, then you can gain more hope.
Ooh.
You can also do it to allies with tend to wounds and repair armor, not with clear stress.
Do some preparing. Do you know what I'm preparing?
I'm going to roll
Describe
for
how you
my
are
hit
preparing
points.
yourself for the path ahead.
Oh, I know how I'm preparing.
Can I treat the kind of pep talk I was trying to give Reginald as a bit of a preparation for hope, and just being like, because it's me just basically trying to be like, okay, yeah, everything you know is gone, but you get to live a new life, and most importantly, you can take revenge off of the creature that caused all of this. That ball, right? You mentioned there was a ball.
That creature, I don't know if it still lives, but it's burnt. Frankly, I think it wouldn't be as bad if I had no memories, because then I would be completely new, instead of aware of what I'd lost. As it is, what I've lost will always hang over me, and I'll always know that boar helped take it from me. If it's still out there, we must find it and bring it the same gift we brought those stilt scorpions.
Well, I can't guarantee that ball is still alive, but I can guarantee that we can take revenge and exert our wrath upon whatever the fuck those guys are. And if the ball is out there, then I will very gladly help you take it down. Deal?
Deal, my friend.
Platty, make a knowledge roll. Crit.
2 7s.
You look up at the runes in the roots. You look at the wall of the arcane magic, and you see something coming towards the waterfall from the other side. As you look up, you see the roots and the rock. Imperceptibly, they're shifting. The patterns are twisting and turning and coming together to form a half circle, a semicircle, which fits to the side of the wall, so the flat edge hits the waterfall of arcane magic. And you see another cavern almost approaching the other side of the waterfall at great speed. And as it hits, the runes light up the entire room with a flash, and an arcane circle appears. Magic swirls at its centre, and out of it drops a figure. Huge, muscled, a body of bulging muscles. It falls head down to the floor and slowly looks up. This thing is 20 feet tall. And as you all look down and you hear the screams below and the screams from the people attached to the wall and the cheers and chants of those surrounding it, Reginald, you see the glowing red eyes and the giant tusks, and you remember the demon that was released, the demon that you sent back to where it came from and shattered the mountain and shattered its portal so it could never return again. The Shatterwood has reformed. The mountain is coming back together. And the demon is here to take his rightful place at its heart. And that's where we'll end today.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
The boar turned up.
The bartender, did you just say?
The boar turned up.
The boar turned up. He's a boar! Big boar!
The boar turned up. That's not a boar.
Such a big
Oh,
boar.
he's such a bore.
Such a big boar.
To bore a hole in his skull.
I don't know what I was. I don't know what I was expecting, Emily, but all the plot points are suddenly like, here you go. And I'm like, oh no!
It's like
you like
parts
more?
of a
Here, have it. I've
shattered
got it for you.
mountain.
Well done,
it is!
pulling it all
Reforming.
together. Much like a mountain reforming.
Oh,
Well
I
done.
get it. Oh my
It's all
god.
coming back together now. Now we get to find out
Pieces.
who's in the family below. I'm excited.
Yeah, what is
aren't
this
you?
family? We don't have any hints for out of game chat. Do we have
Look-
any hints what family?
Levine
heard one
mentioned
of
the
them.
family.
Yeah.
Family is
Yeah.
the cult that wanted to bring the mountain back together.
Exactly.
Oh, I forgot
Control
about
the
that.
mountain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about the cult.
But there was a whole thing where it was, yes, because we were like, is it a literal family? And it's like, no, it's
No.
just a weird cult that is like
Yes.
doing
You
stuff.
might find out more about the family unless you all
Forgot about
die
that.
or you
That's-
kill them all, or I don't know, or you don't find all their cool stuff. But you don't know. So
Just
one
don't know.
episode to go, folks.
Oh, you have implied that there's
Oh,
cool stuff to
stuff,
find.
cool stuff. I didn't say anything about cool stuff. I don't know what you're talking about.
Do we need to finish our short rest stuff?
Yes.
Otherwise, we're gonna all forget.
You've all done your short rest.
Already
next
forgotten.
Two of the following.
Oh yeah, the preps. I
tend
was gonna.
yeah, let's go around and say what we all did. So, Folarin, what did OG do?
I didn't realize you could do two things. I just
Yes, two.
I just did a preparation, so I got 2 hopes.
You can do the same move twice if you like. You only get 2 hope if other people are doing preparations as well.
I think I also did it with
There are other people doing it.
Reginald.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So anyone who does prepare will get 2 hope if you choose to prepare with one or more members of your party. And can I hear how you're all kind of preparing together? Other than, I mean, there were general conversations going on, but was there anything in particular you were doing with each other?
Yes, but I'll let other people.
I think
We can do that
Abbott's-
next week. Okay, so you've done 2 prepares, OG. Reginald?
I think Reginald would have, since we're planning on a rescue mission, it means we need to be armed. So I think Reginald would have like made, perhaps like tried to fashion basic weapons that people can use as a backup.
Nice.
Perhaps tried to spread some of himself over everybody to act as like a little bit of armor. Perhaps
You used the phrase "my cultures" earlier. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, thank you for
Spread
that. Yeah.
my culture.
Yeah, and probably I think I would have also, in addition to both of those things, maybe some traps that we could set, even though we're not necessarily defending a position. I would have had some traps that we could set down, right? Because we're infiltrating, right?
Yeah,
Rather
you're
than-
very high up, so we'll see. Yeah, let me know what kind of traps before next
and
week.
ropes.
We
I would have fashioned
Sure.
basic ropes out of some of my
to help you
tendrils.
get down. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
And harnesses, ropes and harnesses to rappel down.
I think another preparation thing I would have done, I've just realized, sorry, is explain that I won't say what it is now, but I will just say that I will have shared some of my abilities that I think will be useful for infiltration. And we will
Okey-doke.
reveal what those are next week.
Sneaky, keeping things from Emily. I see.
Sneaky.
Lou, what's up? The other that is us done.
I have because I took a lot of damage in the scorpion fight. But luckily I rolled a 4 on my D4,
Nice.
which got me back up to full HP,
Should've
which
done more
was
damage with
very
scorpions.
useful.
Understood. Yes, good. Be meaner.
Well, I was gonna do HP and armor, but I thought that preparing would be better, so that I would get some more hope. So I've kept the 2 bits of armor that I've used, but I've still got 4, so I should be okay. So yeah, I'm back to full HP, and to prepare, I kind of as the consensus is that we're going to sit and have a chat. The other that is us sort of turns and looks at everyone and says, I think I should tell you of the mountain, and I know that I sometimes hear it in my head and I hear when I listen, but perhaps I should try to speak.
Aw.
Yes, love that. Beautiful. Platty.
Platy has chosen the perfect time for a minor existential crisis. And so while they were observing everything going on with the runes and trying to figure out what happened. Sadly, not before a demon boar appeared in the area.
I was always making the boar come out. Sorry.
Oh, it was always going to come today. It was always going to come today. But
Sorry,
while they were watching that, I think they were just kind of absent-mindedly petting Smoinks, just to keep calm and keep a lid on the emotions. Platy's having big feelings, so I think they're just preparing by trying to keep focused and go back to what they know, which is to observe.
Lovely.
And to figure out, and that's how they're preparing, just observing as much as they can.
Yeah.
I'd also love to say, I know that you removed the NPC, the Dawn over Long Lakes.
Evening over Long Lakes.
Evening over Long Lakes. I'd love to say that she had helped me mend the chink in my armor.
You can do that anyway.
So that's the other.
Yeah, but I will say.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
She left
well,
her tools for it, so you could put it.
Okay, great. So I've also restored my armor slot that I used against the scorpion.
Lovely. And finally, Abbott.
Could I fix other S's armor?
Yes.
I'd like to do that. That was the one that you didn't do, right, Lou?
Right,
Three things you
So
wanted.
yeah, roll a d4.
No. Oh God, how do I do that? Okay.
How do you roll a d4?
By putting a d4 in your hand and
Roll the d4.
3.
3. So you
Oh,
3
that's
armor
good.
slots back.
Good.
I only needed you to use 2, so that's great.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Shamini.
Whilst we're being strategic, actually, because I probably don't need 2 hope things. Is there anything that anyone didn't do that I could do for them to bring them up to great?
Are we all full?
Good.
Love. And take a look next week if you want to swap any of your cards in and out. You can. So you have your vault, which is all the abilities you could choose from, and you can switch out the ones you have taken if you would like for new ones, and you can do as many of them as you like on the short rest. So have a look at that for next week. Shall we have a quick chat, since we finished a bit early, about what we think of combat mechanics and things in Daggerheart? While you
Sure.
quickly read
Let's.
your potential things. What do we think of the combat? We finally did some. We're about to do some more, I expect.
I'm a big
I
fan
think-
of Oh, go ahead, Folarin.
No, after you.
I'm a big fan of games actually not having initiative orders
Big
and letting
fan.
it be. I'm a big fan. Just like a wind turbine. The
Yeah.
games which don't use initiative orders but allow turns to be more narrative, I think can be really lovely, because it can be, at least for me, as someone who's very roleplay forward, I can find it a bit stressful when it's like, now you have to do something, and I'm like, it's not the right moment for me to do this something right now, so I like that, like, when Reginald was like slaying with the big gun, it was like, well, just do another one then, and then it will now it's the right moment for Platy to go ahead and try and help, because now there's been enough to happen for them to clock that someone's there helping. So I quite enjoy that, and being allowed to like just have trust as a table and a group that we're all going to let each other have a go and not have to be like, now it's your turn. I quite like that.
Yes, I agree. So the funny thing about all of this is that I feel like, as such a D&D has very much been my path into TTRPGs. And so much of this I'm kind of going like, well, how does this feel in comparison to D&D 5e specifically? And it's this funny thing of me going like, oh, well, I'm not sure how intuitive this feels. But then I'm also like, D&D 5e is actually not particularly intuitive at all. And there are so many things about 5e that like I didn't get for like a year into playing. So I was struggling, for example, with like minor, major, severe thresholds, damage thresholds. And then part of me was like, oh, I think it could be easier. And then I was like, but actually, is that more difficult than what D&D does?
Yeah.
And like, not necessarily. Like, I think the only thing I would say, I think we were saying this earlier, right, was like, it seems strange that you roll damage and then roll. Sorry, you roll to hit and then roll damage.
That's the same
Because
as
the
D&D.
way. No, it is the same as D&D, but it almost feels like it's trying to take a step away from D&D, but then steps back
It's because
towards
you
it.
roll to hit, roll damage, and then work out where on the thresholds it all sits. It's because
Yes.
there's
It
an
makes
extra
it more
step.
complicated.
It's
Yes.
there's an
Yeah.
extra
More
step in it,
complicated.
and then
Jeremy,
the
you
armor
were
is an
saying-
extra step. Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying, Jeremy, that you think like you would prefer the simpler one Like,
Yeah.
don't even have the double step. Just have one step.
Either just do D&D, which I think actually, I think that aspect, I think there's certain aspect of D&D 5e's rules that aren't necessarily intuitive. I do think, hey, this person has a number that you have to hit. You have this that you can add to hit them. Roll this one die, see the number, add the numbers together, see if it beats that, meets or beats that, you hit. That's fairly simple. I feel like that's fairly, and then you roll the damage. We have the thing on your character sheet. These are the damage dice you roll. Okay, great. And then you just subtract that amount from the person. That's it. I feel like that's pretty straightforward. It's when we add in, like, okay, you look at how much you rolled a hit, you see if you hit. Great, we've hit them. Now we look and see. The damage that you roll. Great, you've added the damage. You've added whatever you can add to the damage. Great. And then you look and see what category did you get into, and what does that actually translate to is the confusing part.
Which I
think
guess
if you
I
just
don't need to tell you, but it's nice to tell you that you, like, where maybe I should do it in more of a flavorful way rather than being like, you found them. Like, it'd probably be better to be like, you do your hit ricochets and takes off a huge chunk, and sort of maybe not actually say which one you did or how much you did, but
I think it still
quite like knowing
matters
the numbers are going
mechanically.
down, you know.
The numbers still matter.
I agree. I think you did
I
it
think
fine.
it feels as though they've tried to, you've got like the D&D style where you roll attack and then you roll damage, and then you've got something like Blades in the Dark, which we know Critical Role of because Candela Obscura is the same game. Sorry, not sorry. But the way you have 3 levels, you have like level 1, 2, 3 harm, and it feels like they've tried to just put both one on top of the other, and it's like each of those systems work well, and you don't need to combine them to add this triple step damage system. You could do one or the other, I feel.
That was what I was going to say, is either do the D&D thing or just cut it entirely and say, you can do this much damage with your weapon. Roll to see, you have things you can add to try and do more damage. Their defense is based on their damage threshold. If you hit or beat their damage threshold, well, if you beat their damage threshold, then that's how much damage you do. You either do all the damage that you rolled, or you do the damage that you get past their damage threshold. Either one is fine.
I agree with that.
And that would be great. I think that
I
would
agree.
I would. As far as the turn thing, I prefer having some semblance of turns, even if we're not saying we're all rolling initiative, because rolling initiative does take like potentially a couple minutes added onto the front of the combat. That can slow things down, and then we're trying to keep track of blah 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 blah. It can be easier if it's just we all take turns. I think that is simpler for me. For like Kids on Bikes, for example, there's combat, but it's still sort of turn based.
They do say you can use initiative if you want. It's in the rules that you can just decide to do that. I wanted to try it with the action tracker, more from, and actually, I think the complication is not with necessarily the players not having initiative. It's when I feel I can go. And like, obviously, if people roll with fear, I was like, oh, cool, I'll go. But actually, I can just step in whenever, because I've got so many action tokens, and be like, well, you've had 6 goes, so now I get 6 goes if I want them. And so I think it puts quite a lot of like, how mean do I want to be kind of thoughts. And I tend to being a kind GM. I know it might not feel that way, but I really do tend to being like, yes, no, you can do it, you have another go, that's nice. And so I feel like maybe I need to be a bit harsher, which I will learn for the demon fight.
Yay!
That is one thing I feel like I don't like about this. Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead.
No, I think, again, it's this thing where you've got almost 2 systems where it's like, either you can say when someone rolls with fear, GM can take a hard move, or maybe it's just we're counting actions and the enemies take as many actions. But when it's both, it feels a bit like you as a GM are having to pick which one or go back and forth, and it feels a bit inconsistent, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because I have the tokens, right? So I can spend the tokens when you... however many moves you've done is how many of the moves I can do. But then I can also spend fear, if you're rolling with fear a lot, to do more moves, which is nice. I like that. I think that's good punishment for rolling with fear. But... yeah, I don't know. I think I need to be meaner, which isn't what.
But how do you feel as a GM in general? Because like obviously the funny thing about the whole like fear token thing is that sometimes it's like effectively creating a mechanic to say, here is license for you to be a GM.
Yeah.
Where you might say otherwise, well, I was going to do that anyway, A, and B, now you've actually created effectively a like you've created like a gap almost for me to fill where like I now have to come up with something where like otherwise I wasn't going to do anything. Do you know what I mean? So, and so like how does that feel?
Yeah, hard, I think, actually. So Demon Ball was always coming out. There was no world in which you stopped Demon Ball coming out, because you could have rolled with all the hope and all the crits. You could have taken out every single person there. That was in motion. That was happening. Because it would be shit if you didn't find out that the ball was a demon. Spoilers, not really. So... it's the little ones. It's when you're rolling to see something and you roll with fear. And I'm suddenly like, I guess I should do something here. And, obviously I can take a token, but that's not as nice as... I actually think I did it better last episode, where you rolled with fear at one point, and I sort of said, I'm making a move off screen, which was Levine and Evening over Low Lake setting up their traps and triggering that because they heard you. So that was nice.
Right. And I think you actually said last time as well that you hadn't originally planned necessarily for them to set traps.
Yeah.
So that was almost a sort of the game saying, hey, do a little bit
new
extra
thing. But that is quite a lot of pressure when I'm holding a lot of world in my head anyway, and it's like, now add another thing that needs to happen now. But I do like it. I think I do like the fear mechanic. I prefer the hope mechanic. I prefer you rolling with hope and getting tokens for you to do ability things with. And maybe
it's nice having a replenishable resource.
Yes.
It's not because that's the thing about, obviously we've got some powers that are once per short rest and once per long rest and things like that. But that in, again, using sort of D&D 5e as a benchmark, is you think about my equivalent class, right, is a paladin. And there are so many things that a paladin can do once per short rest.
It's gone.
And that's what it's gone. And you've got no way apart from having a short rest, which can be few and far between, and then suddenly you've got nothing.
It kind of makes you scared to use it.
Yeah. Has anyone used their class hope feature yet? The new one
I can't use mine.
Update. Oh yeah, you can't.
I think I have used mine.
I think you're the only one I think might have done.
I'm trying to remember.
Where would that be on the character sheet?
Great question.
It's top right
on the
corner.
Top right, yeah.
Under conditions, I have downtime. So do I have to click downtime?
No, where it says features, mine says Seraph Hope unique hope feature.
This is a new 1.5 update, so it wouldn't be on your character sheet.
I don't know if I have that on mine.
See if you can update your character sheet to 1.5.
Oh, how do I do that?
refresh and log out and log back in. Ours did it automatically.
Yeah, everyone else has sort of automatically upgraded everything.
Yeah, on mine it just says level 3, then below that it has knowledge, and below that it has hope, then has the hope counter, then has experience below that.
Yeah, and then under that, underneath features.
Okay, so I have effects and features.
Yeah.
Ranger hope. Spend 3 hope and increase your evasion by +1 until your next short rest.
There you go.
So there you go. So at any point you can spend 3 hope. Because I think they were saying that people were getting a lot of hope, and they didn't have anything to spend it on other than sort of the odd thing here and there, and they wanted a big mechanic for every class to have their own individual thing that they could do to make their class feel a bit more special, and have a thing to sort of rinse their hope on a little bit,
So I just realized, so mine is Bard's Hope. So when you or an ally close to you makes a presence roll and either succeeds with fear or fails, spend 3 hope to negate that roll's consequences by intervening, which is actually really lovely in terms of the Bard flavor. And I just haven't had an opportunity to use that yet.
Maybe you will.
Maybe we
Mine
will.
is this is a very, if I hadn't made a broken character, mine would be cool, because mine is to do, so Seraphs get something called prayer dice. But it's to do with your spellcasting trait, and mine is strength, and my strength is a minus, and therefore I don't get any prayer dice.
Is there not a minimum prayer dice you should have?
I was going to say, surely there's a minimum of 1.
To a minimum of 1 or anything.
No, it says at the beginning of each session, roll a number of d4 dice equal to your spellcast trait, which of mine is -1. So I don't get to roll any, and therefore I don't get any prayer dice.
Quite happy. Because I'm a kind god. Yeah.
But then if you get...
You're rude to God.
Yeah. But in a not stupid and broken character way, prayer dice are cool, because you get these prayer dice that you get at the start of each session, and you store them, and then you can spend one or more of these dice at any time to aid yourself or an ally with an ally within far range. Use a spent dice value to reduce incoming damage. Add to any result roll result after the roll. Exchange the value for that many hope.
Oh wow. That is good.
So
Oh my God,
they do a
wow.
lot of cool shit, and I'm very sorry, guys, that I built
No,
a
it's
character
great.
that can't
Yeah,
use
we
them.
love
Okay,
I
but also
have a
that
question
feels
about that,
so
like-
much better than what I have.
Yeah, that seems so good. Yeah. I have a question about that though, which is like, how do we all feel about like it being possible to break a character fundamentally like that? Like, I know, Lou, you kind of like chose that, but could it be really frustrating if you were new to the game and you accidentally built a character that was kind of useless in that way? I feel like I would be
Yeah, I
quite
mean,
frustrated.
I feel-
to step in if the
Yeah.
person didn't mean to
Yeah,
do
if you
that.
hadn't done it on
Yeah.
purpose, I think that the
Yeah.
GM would step in. And also, I think like if like unless you're, I mean, even if you're a total TTRPG newbie, right?
Mhm.
Like if you're building a fighter, you know that at least one of your top two or fighter equivalent, one of your top two stats is going to be strength. If you're building a rogue or rogue equivalent, one of your top two strengths is going to be dexterity. If you're building a bard,
It's less obvious.
it's going to be
It's a lot less obvious for the
charisma.
spellcasters when you go, well, like every time, even in D&D, and I'm like,
Okay.
oh, what's my stat for this
Is it intelligence or
random
charisma?
spell class? It's all.
Or
But
wisdom for
if you're
some
building a
reason?
sorcerer in D&D who is a charisma-based spellcaster, you don't make charisma your dump stat. And that's the other That Is Us's thing, is that because they are a seraph, and it's kind of been put upon them late in life, and a seraph is a paladin and is therefore a strength-based character, they have not spent their life honing strength.
Yeah.
And so they've got a lot of cool magic about like healing people and things like that, but all the stuff about wielding divine weapons and stuff, they're completely ill-suited for.
Yeah, which
So-
I love that you chose that
I love
narrative
it.
choice. I just wonder if like a newbie would know that, oh, I'm
Yeah.
a seraph, so of course I need to have strength. I don't know that they would, and that might be, I don't know,
I
maybe
guess
it's
that comes down to how they build.
I mean,
the
it does say
Yeah.
it does say
Yeah.
like at the decision-making point, your spellcasting trait is strength.
Yeah,
The
so I think
character
that's
sheet building
kind
was
of-
quite good, actually.
That's kind of interesting that like it does feel like really like this game is like the thing that we're using, the character sheet and the character builder and all of that stuff which takes you through
Yeah.
it is really lovely designed.
Yeah.
It's all and
Yes.
I love seeing a game that actually has been built with the way that modern players play a lot of the time, which is on their computers, and like
Yes.
making that part of the process is
and
integrating
part of the
that.
beta as well, not just being like
100%.
here is a 100-page PDF.
Yeah.
Good luck, like, and a character sheet on the last page, like.
Yeah,
All the
like-
things you
One of
need
the-
for your character sheet are in 3 different places in this book.
Yeah, one of the things that I find really off-putting with D&D is a lot of like all the maths that you have to know. Like, okay, so for this weapon, I've got to roll these dice and add it together. And like here, it's like, oh, computer tells me 2d12 plus
Also,
this. Great.
This is I was making a character on D&D Beyond the other day, and I was like going through, and I was doing it in order on D&D Beyond, and then it got to like the bit where I did my background, which gave me a bunch of proficiencies, which
But you
I'd
had to
already
go
picked.
back and
I'd already
yes,
done them. I had
yes,
to go
yes,
back
yes.
and pick again, and I was like, which is actually the best order to do this? Like when you
Yeah.
make a D&D character, what order should you do it? Should you roll your dice
know.
first? Should you do your
I find that the order that D&D
standard
Beyond
array
gives you
first?
is definitely flawed. It does not make sense.
And I don't
It
think there
doesn't
is
make
a
sense. I'd be really
set order,
interested-
really, to do it. I'm sure there is in the book, but I don't know the best order to do it. And it just
Yeah,
feels
the
like you have to
book
jump
does
back
give
and
you
forth
an
a lot.
order.
I would imagine it'd be, well, I don't know. I feel like it makes sense. to
Jeremy, you're
describe
very
race
far away
class.
from your microphone.
I imagine it makes sense to do race class proficiencies. Like that's the thing. The problem is that you get proficiencies from multiple sources.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
either
Yes.
you shunt all the proficiencies towards the end.
Yeah.
In one thing, or you just go by like I think it makes sense to start with a race, then
Yeah,
to go with
I
the
agree
class,
with that, yeah.
then to go with
I
the
do
ability
agree.
scores, then to go with the description and backstory. I think that makes perfect sense, and that you can skip around and do them in different orders. The difficulty is, at least in terms of proficiencies, also in terms of spells, depending on what we're doing, because you can get spells from a feat, or you can get spells from your race, or you
Yeah.
can get spells from your class. Any of
class
those.
features.
So do you shunt all the
Background.
spells to one page,
Yeah,
and shunt
quite.
all the skills to one page?
And if you're
I
not building
think
a
you-
level 1 character...
I actually think you should. I
Like-
think it would actually be more useful to like shunt all those things, because the thing that I often find is that like even when you're walking a newbie through D&D for the first time and you're on D&D Beyond, it's that thing of them going, choosing a race first, and like as you say, that order kind of makes sense. But there's that part of them that then goes, oh, am I not going to choose what I used to do before, like what my like vibe is? And I'm like, no, that's at the end.
Yeah,
And
which
Well, you
if
can
go
just jump
back
to that spot. You can
Sure, but
this
it's
is like for me, the first game I ever played was D&D, and I thought I didn't like tabletop gaming, and it took me several years to come back to it. And like this conversation really encapsulates why.
Did you use D&D Beyond to begin?
I had a friend walk me through it, like what Folarin was
Dang.
describing. Like, this is the way you do it. And it was confusing as heck. And I do like that this still has some confusing stuff, but because it's got this lovely builder and everything as part of it, I feel very guided through it in a way that's much less intimidating, which is nice.
I'd be
'Cause I
very
think even
interested
with
in
the-
seeing what it's like playing in person, because like I'm a slightly kind of old school D&D person. I don't generally build characters on D&D Beyond. I like sitting down with a paper character sheet and rolling dice and
I do
putting
too,
everything
but
in.
I only do it on D&D Beyond nowadays.
Oh, see, I don't.
What are the big
Even
differences
when
between
I'm
this?
playing online. So, but Daggerheart, because you've got cards
I was
and
gonna say.
tokens and stuff, like
Yeah.
I don't know how this works in person.
Yeah,
But I will
And
say
like
that
seeing the
from all
action
of the
tokens go on the tracker and knowing that every time you
Yeah.
put that down,
That's really
I'm
nice.
looking at it going, ooh, I've got another
Ooh,
one.
that's a
Thank
thing
you
to-
so much.
I feel
And
like
from
the
all of the-
theatre of
oh,
taking a fear token could be quite exciting.
Yeah,
So-
and me being like, thank you. Maybe I should
And
make more of it. Maybe I should be like, ooh, this is mine. now."
from all the videos I've seen from people who played in person as well, I'll say it feels like Daggerheart's taken real pains to create like a physical character sheet that is like really, really easy to navigate and intuitive, and has that like I don't know if you guys have seen, but the kind of
Oh, the
second
cheat sheet.
paper
Yeah.
cheat sheet kind of element. Do
No,
you know what I mean?
haven't
Where
seen
it's like
physical character sheet at all.
There's
there's a after you.
No, you go. I'm clearing up my fear token.
The very long story short is that basically there's like your character sheet is kind of like on one sheet, and then there's I don't even know if they are still using cards, but they basically have
It's
like
an
a
A4 sheet of
secondary
paper behind it.
yeah
And
that
then-
you can kind of then like move that basically indicates like what you're looking at, what it means, and all these kind of things, where it just very much feels like they've gone, we're not just like we're teaching new people how to play this game, but we're also creating a game that like you could hand to a new person and just go, oh, I understand what is in front
Yeah.
of me.
I like that.
Yeah, in general, I really like it. I like the 2D12. I like the hope and fear as a sort of a vibe. I think I'm probably not tuning into the fear enough, and I might have a big read of the fear section again and see if I can get into that a bit more as a GM. My big thing I'm not a big fan of is the damage thresholds that we were talking about. I don't think they're as nice as they could be. I like the armor thing. I know a lot of people don't, but I really
like
like
that.
the idea that you've got armor, and because you've got, it's not how hard are you to hit, it's how much damage can you take off, which is more realistic for what armor is. It's not how
Yeah.
hard are you to hit, it's like I've got a big metal thing on me, so when you do this much damage, you're not going to do as much damage, but you still hit me, and like you still
Yeah.
might push me back a bit, and it still might do some bruising or something, you know. So I like that.
And then I have to
I do
repair it
too.
afterwards. I like
Yeah.
I like the story that emerges from I have to look after this armor because everything suddenly feels more precious
Yeah.
and everything feels like more storyful. And like not only do you get the kind of story of, oh, I'm repairing it and I'm chatting, but also the idea of like this armor was handed to you by your
Yeah.
mother who was an adventurer. And it just feels more like stuff that actually has meaning in the game, which I like.
Final
What is
thing,
everyone's
but-
armor?
Oh yeah.
I do have a question though. What? Because looking at this character sheet, it basically looks like the D&D character sheet to me. Like obviously
Yes,
it's laid
yeah.
out a little bit, but like you're talking about the damage dice, that's listed on D&D Beyond. Like all of those things,
Yeah.
all of the information here is the same exact information that I would get using a D&D Beyond character sheet. It's just that the game's a little bit more loosey-goosey with some stuff. For example, action economy, and then obviously everything to do with the experience is very loosey-goosey, because you make it up to begin with, and then you choose when it applies.
I love the experience.
I love the experience.
I
Fine,
love
like,
the
it doesn't-
experience.
yeah, it doesn't
mention
bother
that.
me. It feels weird because I've played games that have stuff like that, but those games are usually way loosey-goosier, And
Yeah.
this feels
Yeah.
like it's
I
trying
think
to
there's a
be
weird
D&D.
dichotomy between.
It feels like
it.
it's
Yeah.
trying to be D&D, but shoot like Paradox Perfect uses that. But Paradox
Yeah.
Perfect
Yeah.
is built to
Yeah.
be the most chaotic, ridiculous game
Lucy Goosey,
possible.
yeah.
I
This
think
feels like
it's
we're trying to
agree.
shoehorn in a
Yeah.
few elements.
I think it's
I'm
the main
wondering-
issue so far with Daggerheart, where you're like, it's the loosey goosey bits are great, and the like mechanically bits are sometimes good and sometimes weird, and it's like they're trying to merge together, and sometimes you're like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
you just need to choose one or the other.
Yeah, my big question is what for you all who feel that this is much more intuitive and easier to follow than D&D Beyond. At least for me, it feels like literally everything they have here has its equivalent on the D&D Beyond character sheet.
Yeah.
So
I
my
agree.
question
I
is,
think
what
it was the
is
creation,
the difference for you?
not the character sheet itself. It was how we got to the character sheet.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
the
was a
cre- the
much
creation.
simpler step-by-step process.
I must say that
I think
when
Nexus is better than D&D Beyond, basically.
when I
I
came
don't
to
know.
make my character
okay.
sheet, I thought, oh no, I don't know the rules well enough to make a character, because I was remembering how long it kind of took me to get the hang of it.
An hour before we went live.
With D&D, maybe slightly.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately for me, it was very easy to make. So
Yeah, the
But yeah, I
creation
agree
stuff,
with you
like
that
the
the character
introductory
sheet
stuff.
itself is similar.
It's very similar.
Same. Yeah.
I think like if you like it, saying it's got these two elements, it means if you like the crunchy stuff from D&D, you could be like, oh, it's still got the crunchy stuff, and if you like the loosey goosey stuff, oh, it's got some loosey goosey stuff. But I would also I like the loosey goosey stuff. I would rather just do that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is feeling like a little bit like they're trying to please both
Yeah,
sides. It,
yeah,
it
exactly,
feels a
yeah.
bit like they're like, let's take D&D and like excise the wargaming roots.
Yeah.
But like it grew out of those roots, and when you cut them off, it feels a bit wibbly.
I will say
Yeah.
though, I
Sure.
like all the like spells and abilities more. I feel like they're a lot more grounded in characters and can be flavored nicely.
yeah.
But I
the
think
swap-
that
the
my
swappable
one
cards
thing
is
is
nice.
I would change the threshold. That is the bit for me. I think if you make the damage and the to hit all a lot simpler and not take 3 steps and the armor thing as well, I think that would make, and then I think that would fit more in with the keeping of the rest of the game, which is very narrative and very, how does your character do this thing? And I just think it felt slow when we were doing damage every time.
Yes.
What's the flavor justification for those thresholds? Everything else is you're right. It is.
That's it. Yeah.
It is flavor justified. It is based.
I think that isn't flavor. I think that's the bit where they're getting crunchy because they're like, we still like crunch.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's
Yeah.
not, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, how are those numbers made?
Oh,
I think
that's
they
a
are
good question,
class.
actually.
I think it's class.
It's a combination
Yeah.
of a couple
and level
things.
and stuff. But
Okay.
Yeah, it's like sorcerer base plus when you've leveled up, it's changing.
yeah.
Changing your
But then
stat.
I will say, because I think to this whole point, oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I will say, because I think to the whole point, the thing that I'm finding is that I don't know if I like or dislike this sort of more or less than D&D 5e. I think it's interesting. I think it's nice to play with a different game system.
Yeah.
As someone who, I mean, I played with other games, but D&D 5e was very much my way into TTRPGs. But I feel like
Same.
I always come back to the experience thing, because it's like, that's a thing that I really, really like. And I think I like how loosey-goosey that is. I like how much that works narratively. But it's also really interesting because I think about how, like, there's a Matt Culver video from a while ago where he's like, he basically does this system for backgrounds in D&D and has been doing for many years, where he's just like, rather than me giving proficiency to different things, I'm just going to say, you are a pirate, so like, if this is pirate shit, you're going to get proficiency, which is like just really easy, really straightforward, and makes so much more sense than I think the way it works in D&D 5e. So it's an interesting thing to me where it's like, one of the things that I really like for being so loosey-goosey in this game is kind of really easily implemented into D&D 5e with
Yeah,
like
'cause
without
we-
any difficulty.
We homebrew brew stuff in our of Dice and Them 5e arc that we've got. Like, I've played this halfling who's from this enormous family who are kind of spread across the continent, and like it just sort of started off as a joke, but then like when we go to a new place, my character's called Gus Miller, and like when we go to a new place they're like, okay, roll for Millers, and like let's see if there are Millers here that you know.
Yeah, I love it.
This enormous sprawling family, and that's
That's
the sort of thing that would be here, right? That would be an experience. It's like enormous family.
Yeah.
If there is something that you would be having from an enormous family, whether it's
And you'd be in a
can
town.
block out loads of sound because you're used to siblings arguing, or you're used to cramped spaces, or you're whatever else.
Yeah, no,
then
definitely.
That's rolling for Miller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it would be you're in a town and you need to find someone who can help you, and you can use your experience to find someone who is your relative. It would I think I agree.
It all just makes it start to feel. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. You go.
Sorry, it's Emily's fourth one of
I'm going to
those.
try and eventually get to the final question.
I was gonna jump in actually and say, in my opinion, this feels like it's trying to be a D&D alternative, which I think for a lot of people it'll work really well. Personally, I like elements of this. I like some of the ancestries they have. I think that's cool. I would just as soon just play D&D and then port anything else that I like from this into that. Like D&D is built to be that way, so I feel no need to switch. If I play this, I could just as easily take some stuff. Like, for example, we like the experiences thing, sure, port it in there. Do I think it necessarily is going to work in every game? No, because we're not playing hyper tactically, but there are people who would come into a game like this being like, cool, I want to make the best possible, like a lot of this game is built around combat, so I want to make the most effective character possible and use every tool at my disposal, and I feel like you could
My experience
have somebody...
is that I'm an SAS soldier.
Exactly. So you can have people exploit that, which in a game like Paradox Perfect is fine because it's the goal of the game is to be as ridiculous as possible, and you can be as exploiting, and that's part of the fun. With this, there's an element of like, well, we have to be challenged and overcome those challenges. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas if I want to play something that's loosey-goosey but still has a lot of combat, I could play like Thirsty Sword Lesbians. And I feel like that, as for a loosey-goosey combat, is better designed than this because it is more loosey-goosey and has more story-based stuff. It's more built around story steps. So I'm like, I could just do that. Or I could do Kids on Bikes has a fun combat system. And all of those games in that vein have a fun combat system. There are other systems that have fun combat that is much simpler. And doesn't attempt, so I could just play any of those. That's
other
where
systems are available.
Now, if somebody wants to play Daggerheart with me, this is a fun game. I'm not gonna say no. But if I'm choosing the system, then I would be like, well, D&D does all of this about as well. And if we really want to have if we really want to shoehorn the story stuff in there, the game is built to have that shoehorned in. So, for example, we can have rolling for Millers and whatnot that's in a D&D campaign. We can shove that in there. Matt Colville's playing D&D primarily on his channel, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, I feel like that's fine. This is a cool game.
I like
I
It is
do
not.
think that.
I don't think it's. Here's what I'll say. I don't think the game is strong enough currently to pull the really simple game crowd in from their end.
Correct.
Nor is it rewardingly complex enough to pull the more war game oriented strategic people in from their crowd. I think there's probably an audience for it though, and I like it.
I like that it's fantasy because you mentioned thirsty sword lesbians, you mentioned Kids on Bikes. I like that it's a fantasy alternative because there aren't. You've got Pathfinder, obviously, but it is just D&D.
May I say something?
Mechanics. Yes, please do, Michelle. Yeah.
I agree with you, Jeremy. I don't see any reason why somebody who likes D&D 5e would switch to this because you can do all the same stuff, especially if you're confident with homebrewing and stuff. But I think maybe that's not their target audience with this game. Like, it's a commercial product. It's from Critical Role. And I think that probably what this game is more aimed at is people who like the aesthetics of D&D. They've watched APs. They want to have home games that feel like actual plays. I want the D&D, but with more narrative stuff.
But they don't have
stuff which helps me.
Yeah,
stuff which helps me to create narrative. Because I feel like one thing D&D doesn't do is help the players to create the narrative side of things through the mechanics.
Nudge them.
This is what it feels like. It's like if you want to play D&D, but you want help making the story feel exciting, like an
What about
actual
Dungeon World though? Which is a PBTA game that is D&D, is just D&D, but it's designed like other PBTA games to be more of a story vehicle. Would you say this is better at that than Dungeon World? Or that
I wouldn't say that I have an opinion on whether it's better. I just think that
that's where they're coming from.
This is what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Which is
So
why
I think that, I agree that they're not going to convince the D&D enthusiasts or people like me who prefer games that are much more roleplay focused, but I don't think they're trying to. It was kind of what I think is interesting.
If you haven't played Dungeon World, I actually recommend it because I think PBTA games.
Yeah, I've never had it.
If you look at the rule books, it is literally D&D, but with almost all of the crunch removed and a PBTA story-based game inserted in its place.
They got
I might like
the
that.
same as like most of the Power by Holocaust games.
Can I just ask one question? Because I'm just really curious. Is there any one thing that we think Daggerheart does better than like anything else that would be its like effectively USP of like, this is why you should play this over anything else?
That's a great question.
Because that almost feels like what we're coming down to.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
Like
been-
some of the
we-
ancestries, that would be it. That would be for me.
The
we've
lore
been
is
tra-
great
we've-
in the book, I have to say, which you would expect, right, from that team. The lore is sensational, like all of the bits. After we're finished next week, go read
Tell
the
us,
Kinekozan Jags.
No, you've got to tell us
section
which
of the book.
bits came from where.
Because I mean, you'll see which bits came from where and which bits I have fully ignored because I was like originally going to include them, and then I was like, this is too complicated.
Yeah.
We've only got 4 episodes, but it's a beautifully designed little world. But that is, I assume that's come from the mind of Matt Mercer and co.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of the locations that are in there are stunningly like described and so in depth, and there's so much going on. So yeah, I would encourage people to go have a look at it. And,
And
obviously
again,
I've
that's giving
twisted it and
people
I've changed it, but yeah.
That's again like giving people a starting point for doing the narrative side of the game, like having really beautiful settings that've got lots of lore, which is really cool.
But
I like
still
the
all, but-
experience mechanic as well for all the reasons.
But that's
that-
13th
I'm
age.
not, but it's not original.
That's taken
Right.
It's not a
straight
unique.
out of 13th age.
It's like, but I don't think that's unique enough to fit that
Yeah.
USP
So-
thing.
Yeah.
I will say is we're sort of naming all these other systems. We have all played a lot of TTRPGs. We are in that world. There are people who are not. There are people who know Dungeons and Dragons and they know Critical Role.
Yeah.
And this is most
That's
likely
who it's
going to
for.
be
Some of
the
us don't know
first-
one of those things.
Yeah.
This is going to be the first other game.
As Emily and Folarin know, dragging me to see Dimension 20 for the very first time, and I've still never seen Critical Role.
I mean, but there are people who don't even play Dungeons and Dragons, but watch Critical Role. So they're huge. Like this was always coming from them. Like it was obviously it's Darrington Press. It's not Critical Role.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darrington Press. But I mean, they're going up against D&D, and they will be successful. I don't think they will beat D&D. I don't think the game is currently strong enough. I'll be intrigued to see what the final version is. So this is the last version of the open beta. They're not updating it again now until the actual rulebook comes out. But they have said things can change from
interesting
this
to see
the final book.
If anybody sort of supports this and plays this and switches over to it, because it's similar enough to D&D for people who don't want to support wizards.
That's
Yes.
a
Yes.
huge
Yes.
yeah,
That's
that's a really good point.
That will be a
And
biggie
less
for some
crunchy than
people.
Pathfinder, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot less
And less crunchy than
Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And gives you
Yeah,
that
Pathfinder's
fantasy
just
baked
But
in.
actually, and does give you
Yeah.
some of the things, because my understanding with Pathfinder is that like the level of customizability is really sort of part of the game, and I feel like there's an element of that in terms of like even the way you can do ancestries and mixed ancestries and stuff.
And the
in
like
this game that feels like
Orderborn or Ridgeborn or Seaborn, all of
Yeah,
those along
there's an
with their
element of, like,
ancestries.
yeah. So who knows?
And then obviously we have new D&D coming out, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, but that's not really new D&D.
It's reskinned D&D. D&D 5.5, but you're not meant to call it that. We're all very
It's not 6th edition
excited.
either.
I'm thrilled. I can't wait. As
Not
someone
six
who
is
never
better.
plays D&D.
Not
Having
one
looked
D&D.
at some of it, some of it is a clear improvement. Like
Yeah,
the monk
definitely.
is a lot better in this.
It is definitely better, but I think my only problem with it is that when I first heard it announced, I was like, whoa, new rule system. And then I was like, oh, it's the same stuff, but just a bit better.
My loves, we are veering wildly. So, final
I have a
question.
suggestion. Oh,
Oh.
okay.
No, go on, Sham.
I have a suggestion, but it's moving us on to the ending.
This is the ending. I was going to say.
Well, I was going to say patron shout outs.
Oh no, I'm not quite there yet.
Okay.
Sorry. The one thing because I did want to do this before, and we might as well do it online. Can we do? It doesn't need to be stars, but can we do wishes for final episode? I would love to know whether it's a mechanic thing, whether it's a character thing, what you would something each of you would love for the final episode, and if you want to do a star of something you've enjoyed, either mechanic or story or whatever, or something someone else did. let me know. I'm going to start with, I'll roll a d6. If I get a 6, I'll roll again.
The
Gary,
jeopardy.
1, 2, 3, 4. Lou.
Great. Okay. Damn. Oh God. I mean, I guess wishes is just arc, right?
Mhm.
Like it's getting the fulfillment and the kind of hurtling towards the inevitable conclusion of, but then possibly not being exactly in the way we expect, of kind of little pins that have been set up. You know,
Hopefully.
I've set up that, you know, that my character and Jeremy's character are connected via thousands of years of history. I've got things set up that I've got a weapon that I can't use. I've got things set up that's like, so it's like, I think that's I suppose my only wish, which I have never ever had any doubt that will happen, is just the successful
It's all going to come together.
summing up and
Successful
conclusion
tiny threads
and
Just like the Shatterwords.
and
and
all these
satisfying, yeah, and yeah, satisfying outcome of all of those
Nice.
things.
Does anyone else want to go, or shall I roll again?
I've got one. I would like. I feel very much like we're possibly going to go into some combat. I would like to have a conversation between Abbott and Professor Bishop
I think that will probably
without him dying in the combat that might happen.
immediately into combat.
I feel like it's going to go badly. Anything we try is going to descend into explosions.
Potentially. Anyone else?
I will give a star and say, just well done. It's been a fantastic story, and I do feel like you've just brought together all of these different elements and our various different backstories together.
Today it was like, wham, character for your backstory, wham, character for your backstory, wham, character for your backstory.
Reginald
Boom,
was
boom,
was
boom.
quite a key piece of the puzzle. So not having Reginald last week, I was like, oh, okay, next week there's gonna be some shit.
And you did it beautifully. So that's my
Not done,
star,
folks.
and then you got there. We're getting there. And then my wish is my only wish is that OG gets more opportunities to be a flim-flam man, as is his want.
Flim-flam man. Yes.
Plum, plum, plum.
Yes, lovely.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Flim-flam.
I would like to second that star because I think you did a really good job, Bates, of pulling everything together. I think there was a lot of disparate story elements that you managed to connect, and it was like, oh dang, and we kept going, oh, the whole time, which was
That makes
cool.
me happy.
And then I guess a wish for next time. Oh boy, I'm curious because I feel like the basic, hey, we're just interacting part of the game really isn't that built out compared, like, it's actually very similar to D&D in that regard. That's pretty straightforward. It's not, there aren't like a bunch of moves that just pertain to chatting with people.
Skills challenges and stuff.
Exactly. It pretty much functions the same as D&D. What I'm interested in then is to see if combat, one of my favorite D&D combats are the ones that push you to the limit and force you to try and bring out all your different moves and figure out creative ways of winning. I'm curious if we can pull that off with this system. I haven't seen it. This is my first combat, so I'm curious, like that we just had today, so I'm curious to see another one and be like,
I think
right.
that's
What I will
hard enough
say-
to pull off with D&D in one episode.
Well, what I will say is in this, so obviously you get like lair actions and things in D&D. Locations have moves in Daggerheart, which are quite
okay.
cool. Different locations have different moves you can make that might come out in a combat. Who knows? Anyway.
I'm definitely with you there, Jeremy, because, like, again, I keep sort of going over it, but like as a character who is not built for combat, I would definitely like to see what other opportunities for other actions I can be taking to help win the day, rather than hitting something ineffectually with my tiny dagger, which I didn't say. I completely forgot to say that after I hit it at someone, it magically returns to my hand.
Oh,
And I didn't
boomerang
and
dagger.
I didn't
Cool.
I didn't
nice.
even say it.
That is
But it is
nice.
tiny and kind of
Yeah.
pathetic.
Well, I've been portioning out my interesting abilities about 2 per episode, so I've got about 2 left, but hopefully I'll get a chance to use them also. A wish for me, I think, is just it's just character stuff. Is just Platty having the space to deal with the big emotions they're having at the end of that last episode, and hopefully there was a lot to cover. We got a lot to cover, but hopefully not getting so swept up and do this and we do this and we do this and we do this that we
Having some emotional payoff.
Have time.
that they don't get that emotional payoff.
Yeah.
And also hopefully a conversation with the other that is us is something that Platty wants to have.
Nice. Excellent.
I'm
Lovely.
intrigued.
Thank you.
Me, Lou.
With that, let's move to the Patreon and the end of the episode. Who's got a D?
Well, I did have a slightly different
go on.
idea, was because we've just been discussing systems and like abilities and stuff. What if maybe each patron represented a particular class, feature, or spell, or something on the character sheet? What would they be? Is that too wacky?
Okay, well you can help. You can do the first one. Then. Roll a D12, Shamini.
Oh, roll a d12. I can do that. Oh God. D12.
Now we play who?
Maybe
I
off
got a
stream, but I'd really like to swatch one of my cards and I'd like y'all's opinion.
Yeah.
I got a 5.
A 5. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. We've done that one.
All
Grey.
official items.
Grey. Okay. This is like based entirely off names, vibes of names. I feel like grey is maybe even an easier one because I'm going to make a very grey spell where you can cast a spell on someone and they can't, like, all of their senses are dulled. They can only see in shades of grey. Everything kind of smells the same. Everyone's voices sound the same. So you pretend to be someone else.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Cool.
thank you,
Oh, I
Grey,
like that.
so much for subscribing to our Patreon. We really do appreciate it. Who would like to go next and come up with an?
Can I add something to that spell?
Please.
Yeah.
Because I think it's great because it means that like they are more susceptible to certain things, right? In terms of being tricked, but also perhaps they also take less damage in that instance because their senses are dulled. So it's like
There's
it's
no
grey
extremes.
both in the sense of, so it's grey both in the sense of it's both negative and positive.
I like that.
Maybe mechanically everything is averaged, so everything only ever
Always
whatever
the
the-
average.
it's always
Yeah.
the
Straight down the
average.
line.
So like if you were to cast Charm Person on them afterwards, they'd be like, yeah, friends,
I guess.
You're right.
Lovely.
friends, whatever, I guess.
Roll a D12, someone.
Jeremy has not done it yet.
Yes,
left my
Jeremy.
D12s away.
Yes,
Let me,
you
let
weren't
me
here
grab
last
one
week.
out. Well, where's my D12s?
You should have lots of them for Daggerheart. Oh,
Oh.
Imagine if now we found out he'd been rolling D20s.
I've been scoring so high.
Whoops.
That's how
Somehow
the damage is
getting,
so high.
almost never getting above a 20. That's 5.
5. Oh, we got a 5.
We've
last.
rolled a
Roll
5
again.
every
Roll again.
Okay, here we go. 8.
8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is Keegan Amreen.
Ah.
Okay. And then I just pick one of my abilities on my character sheet. that
You invent a
represents
whole
Keegan.
new one
Invent
that
one.
represents
Invent a whole
something
new
Keegan
one.
Amrini.
Oh my goodness.
Think about the
Somehow.
name. Let an ability flow
Yeah.
through. This is Shamini's idea. so-
Sorry, it's very abstract. I like the abstract one.
Yeah, so Keegan Amarini, you have an ability whereby you could name like a sworn foe according to your background as part of your backstory as the made up character class or subclass that like is basically your hero as a revenant. And if you are within a certain range, maybe far range, and you see that person, you can use one of your action tokens to just teleport to their location. Like you can just teleport to within range of them. And it costs you though, like whenever you do it, you gain 2 stress. So you can't just keep auto teleporting over and over, but as a thing you can teleport to them, gain 2 stress, and in doing so I think also your evasion goes up briefly.
Nice.
So this would be the boar for Reginald,
Yeah,
basically.
it'd be like that.
Be
Yeah, I
like,
can teleport to the
oh,
board.
yeah.
Yeah, I drop the gun and just start punching it.
Grab onto the tusks. Like, ah!
It's you going, let's settle this like gentlemen.
Fisticuffs.
Put your jukes up.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much to everyone who subscribes to us on Patreon. We really do appreciate it. It means a lot. And if you would like to, you can find it over at patreon.com/rpgeeksd&d. You can also find us all across the internet at rpgeeksd&d. We'll be back at 7 p.m. on Monday next week, the 29th of July, that's UK time, for the finale of our Shatterheart actual play. No, our Shatterheart, did I say? Daggerheart actual play. Daggered. No. Shattered. Fucking hell.
Dagger that.
Oh, mate, I got absolutely daggered last
At least you
night.
didn't say shagged. It's fine.
Shagged. Thank you all for playing Shagged.
When's Carnival?
Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we'll be back next week. See you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.